I thought about screaming, but I wasn't gonna scream. I thought about it. I really did. I was sitting here for a minute and going, do I scream at the top of my lungs just to kind of see our guest's reaction? Hi, everybody. My name is Super Trav, Travioli if you're feeling spicy. Some people just call me Trav. Other people call me Travis, but that gets confusing whenever Draco's around. It's good to see you all. Hello. For those who don't know me, I'm usually a variety streamer, and I do comedy stuff, and I make funnies, and I go ha 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 ha, because if at least I'm laughing, then hopefully at least one of y'all is laughing. So it's so good to see you. Hello. I'm very excited for today because today's a little bit different. Today's a little bit different. Today is an episode of TravTalks. Now, TravTalks is the show where I was so vain I had to put my name in the title, and I also had to start introducing guests. And I was like, how do I do guests without like a Discord full of people screaming at each other? Because I feel like those get overwhelming for me. So I was like, interviews. I like talking to people. I'm much better at talking. I'm much better at talking than I am at video games. So let's figure out a way to do that. Let's think about ways of doing that. But then I was like, let's talk to all sorts of people. Let's talk to new people, old people, people who are new to the scene, people who have been around for a while, and people who have been gone for a year. In case you can't read the title, our guest today, Maple Creature, somebody I met quite a long time ago, and I'm very excited to have her on the show today. So feel free to say hello to our lovely guest, our voice in the sky. Maple, are you there?
Hello. Yes, I am here.
Oh, my goodness. Pop it on over.
Ooh.
That's Maple Creature, everybody.
Hi, everybody. Good to see you.
That's like the real Maple. The real Maple.
Yes, not artificial maple. Today.
No AI Maple today. No AI Maple today. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm, you know, it was a Monday for sure, but it's the last week of school, so I feel like the kids are in very weird mood. They are.
Yeah, I guess it is.
Yeah, they're pretty excited, and they're also like, oh my god, I have to stay home for 3 months. So you get a little bit of both.
You know, it's crazy. You know, what being an adult and not being near children, you kind of forget.
You do.
The timeline.
Yeah.
Like, you think like living it for 12 years, it would stick with you, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
It really doesn't.
No, it changes. It changes 100%. I wanted to give you a chance to introduce yourself to anybody who doesn't know you.
Sure. Hi. I'm Maple Creature. I have been on a long hiatus from Twitch since basically last year. May, June is probably the last time I streamed. But yeah. So don't follow me on anything. I can't promise I'll be back anytime soon. I used to be able to do this. I'm very rusty.
It's been a while.
It has been a while. I've kind of forgotten what this is and how to do this. So thank you for being here as I fumble my way through this.
Well, the beautiful part about being an interview is you don't have to, you can just do some talk. We're not there's just no pressure environment. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to, part of the reason that I wanted to get you on the show is to talk about how we got introduced. You and I got introduced. It was maybe a few months before Raiders for Human Rights. And we had like I was like kind of, and that was also at the beginning of Super Trav for me. So we were like, I was like starting to get into like certain circles and kind of crossing, well, I was gonna say crossing streams, but it was and it was really fortunate that you and I met, and then this whole thing happened. This whole thing happened that got you, for lack of a better term, pissed off.
Yes.
So do you want to kind of explain Raiders to
Sure.
Human Rights to anybody who wasn't there?
Sure. So, about a year ago and change, it turns
Mhm.
out that the Supreme Court of America had some leaked documents saying that they had plans to overturn Roe v. Wade, which was a landmark case from nearly 70 years, uh, that gave women and people who can get pregnant the right to an abortion, the right to bodily autonomy, so that you can't be charged for having an abortion. You can't be held liable. You can't go to prison for it. Whole bunch of stuff like that.
Mhm.
And it covers a whole bunch of other things. But basically, that's the gist of it.
Right.
And so these leaked documents came out that they're going to overturn it, and a lot of us were very upset. And
Very.
I decided to take that anger and I wanted to do something with it. I didn't want to just be angry.
Right.
So I reached out to a whole bunch of my friends to see if we wanted to try and raise some money for Planned Parenthood to see if that could help some people. Uh, and what was going to be just a weekend, like maybe like 3 days
Yeah.
of streamers doing that, turned into an entire week.
Hmm.
Uh, like 24 hours the entire time for not like 24 hours every day for 7 days.
Yes.
Uh, and we raised over $60,000.
It was incredible. It was incredible. I was lucky enough to get asked to do this. Um, and I had a slot at night. Um, I had a slot at night. I was kind of a late night gremlin as we were going for, and I did a Wheel of Punishment. We did Smash or Pass. I didn't play a single video game, but we
I know
did.
you plan so much. You plan for like so many games for hours and hours, and it's like, all right, for like I'll do this for 3 hours and this for this and this and this, and I'll be planned and great.
Yep.
And then you never get to any of it.
I didn't get to any of it. I didn't get to a single game that I had planned. Um, I wanted to. I was. I had like these ideas and these fun things, and then it ended up playing Smash or Pass with Smash Bros characters, and I think
Oh my
Pokemon
goodness.
as well. I nearly died playing Chubby Bunny. Like, it was a good time. And on that stream alone, we raised $1,100.
Oh, that's
So
wonderful.
and like that to me was like part of this thing for like, yeah, we're doing something. We're doing something. And I know you were crazy involved.
Yes.
How much do you think you slept that week?
Not a lot. There was a period where I had been awake for well over 24 hours.
Hmm.
And that was near the beginning. I was just so worried that something would go wrong and that I
Right.
would be needed at like 4 a.m. And what if I was sleeping? So I didn't sleep for
Man.
like for a long while.
Yeah.
Um, I was also like I work a full-time job as well,
Hmm.
so I was working at the same time as doing this.
Right.
But I had a lot of help from a lot of really great people, and
Yeah.
we just we managed to pull it off somehow. Honestly, just it's a miracle somehow that it was as seamless as it was. Um, yeah, I have a lot of good memories of that, and
Me
I'm
too.
really glad that we came together to do what we did. But also, like Kat says, I am still very upset because turns out that even though we did all that, it feels like none of it mattered anyway because they overturned it, and we're getting more and more, now instead of just it's not just states' rights, it's not just we have to
Right.
overturn it for state rights. Um, now it's an abortion ban like federally,
Yeah.
and that scares me because consider like what has happened previously. I feel like it's going to happen, and then what? I just it it's very upsetting, and I feel like it's super dumb, and I recognize that this is absolutely not true. However, I feel like because it did get overturned,
Hmm.
that I don't deserve to come back to streaming. It's this stupid cognitive dissonance thing where obviously there's nothing more I could have done. Like
You
raising
did
$60,000, like doing all that, like
you did more than
obviously.
so many others. So
But like there's this part of my brain that says, well, we didn't stop it from being overturned,
right.
so I don't deserve to come back to streaming. So that's just a dumb thing that I've been like fighting in my brain.
Yeah, yeah. And to like that kind of segues. You're getting ahead of me, Maple.
Sorry.
I will absolutely. I can't. You know, I will speak. I feel like I speak for most people when like the idea of you deserve to come back is a ridiculous notion, and it is an irrational thought. So I understand that, and you can't always control those. So we absolutely would welcome you back. As you can see, everybody in the chat has been like giving you all the love. But we did a crazy amount of work. That like 60K is more than some people make in a year.
I know. And I'm glad that we were able to donate to Planned Parenthood, because even if we didn't manage to stop the overturn, I mean, obviously,
Right.
but it still helped a whole bunch of people, and that's the important part, is that the money went to helping people, and that's the important part.
Well, like they always show you like what even like a $10, $20 donation will do, and we million%ed that. I don't know math, but like we absolutely blew that out of the water. So imagine how many people we did help. And while I understand that your brain can be mean, all brains can be mean. Mine was being mean to me much earlier today, so I totally hear you. I was in awe of the fact that like that came together so quickly. I remember hearing rumblings of it, be like, oh, is there gonna do like this little like donate-a-thon, whatever, like raid train thing, in you know, for like a weekend, and then out of nowhere they're like, we need to fill a week.
Well, it wasn't that we needed to fill a week, it was that we had so many people who wanted
Yeah.
to join,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't want to say no to anybody.
No.
So it was like, all right, I guess we're doing an entire week. All right. So we managed to, like, for people like trying to like fill those night hours, I thought it would be difficult, but it really wasn't that bad. There were so many people willing to give up their sleep to do this, and I just like use like thank you as well. Like you gave up your sleep to help. Like,
oh,
my God.
I'm a gremlin. It's fine. And then even better, just fun memory about the Goblin Hours stream is that like afterward I joined the voice chat with all of y'all. We're just like, you're all like hyped up on energy drinks or whatever because it's been like 27 hours that you're all awake.
Yeah, we had like a control center in Discord together, and it was good.
Right. It was really something else to see, just to see that power of bringing everybody together over a cause. You know, that just shows how powerful this actually was for people.
Yes, the general loofiness. Yeah, a little. It got silly sometimes.
Of course, yeah. It got odd.
Okay.
It got odd. And I think there's something to be said for like that was like your motivation, like your idea.
Yes. But like it started as my idea, but like everyone keeps saying like, you know, oh, we couldn't have done with that, but like it was just my idea and the initial spark, sure, but it was all of you wonderful people who actually like made it into a bonfire. Like I couldn't have done that alone. It was everyone. It was moderators. It was content creators. It was friends helping along the way. It was people modding for streamers they'd never met before.
Right.
We had a whole bunch of volunteer moderators who asked, like, especially like small content creators, like maybe those who didn't have an entire team yet, saying, hey, do you need mods? Is it a different time that you're normally streaming at? Do you need some mods to help cover you? And like and there was so many amazing people volunteering to do that, and it still just blows my mind.
Yeah. And I mean, it just shows like the kind of like heart and like the lack of a better term, kind of like feeling that that people are willing to like give up their time, you know? Like, yeah, of course, like modding, like, and luckily I wasn't there for any of the streams that like had like any like hate raids or anything like that. Luckily that
Mhm.
never, I don't remember that ever happening.
I don't think it did.
No major hate raids. I mean, there of course there were some weirdos here and there.
Oh yeah.
Um, but you know, you'll get that anywhere. Um, you'll get that just streaming by yourself. You know, it's a very very odd thing. But the fact that you had this spark and it started this whole big powerful bonfire, and just like I wanted to like, I don't think we because you kind of disappeared after that.
Yes.
So what kind of led to being like, I gotta step away. This is too much.
It was a whole bunch of things. It was stuff like even before the raid train, it was not taking care of myself really physically or mentally. Because I work a full-time job, so basically it
Right.
was I would wake up in the morning at like 8:20 to try and get to my meeting at 8:30, and I worked from home, so that was fine. I could just roll out of bed and do that. But then
Sure.
I would be working from 8:30 until, 5, and then I'd give myself 30 minutes to get ready for stream, and then I would stream for 3 hours, and then it was late. I late, and then I'd have to eat quickly and go to bed, and I just repeat that. And I also streamed like 7 days a week.
That's
So
a lot.
even on weekends, I didn't exactly give myself time to not do anything except that, and it wasn't really that healthy.
7 days a week is a lot, even if it's only for a few hours. Like that's a lot of time and preparation and energy.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of burn. That was just like one component of it. Like I also felt like that because was spending a lot of my time and energy like thinking about streaming and thinking
Yeah.
about video games and thinking about like Twitch in general, like that I was underperforming at work. I wasn't, but it was this thought that I was.
Okay.
And that was very scary to me because I'm a big perfectionist. So anytime that I thought I wasn't doing as well as I should have been doing at work, even though
Yeah.
I still was giving 100% to it, I felt like, because I don't know, I would think about Twitch sometimes while I was working that I wasn't being a good enough employee.
Really?
Stuff like
Okay.
that.
Yeah. And that I mean, like I feel like a lot of people have either a secret or not so secret perfectionism about them, right? Yours sounds like you're very open about. You're just like, I got to do it right. And if I don't do it right, everything's wrong.
Yes, I recognize that it is not healthy and it's not a good mindset. And I'm working on trying to like deconstruct that and trying to not be such a perfectionist. But yeah, it's just part of who I've always been.
Has that like always?
Yeah, I've pretty much always been a perfectionist up until, well, like, childhood, and then, the initiating incident as to what happens. And then, from then on you become a perfectionist because reasons.
Reasons.
Yes.
Reasons and facts.
Yes.
Do you feel like there's any sort of like, you said that that's a contributing factor to you taking the hiatus. Do you feel like there is steps to overcoming that? Is it kind of like a let it go, let it flow type of thought? Like, what do you feel like is your process for possibly trying to overcome that?
Oh, I'm in psychiatry and I'm in therapy, so I'm working on a whole bunch of stuff. Um so I'm working on my mental health, and then I've also been working on my physical health as well, and I'm feeling a lot better than I was. I feel great. Um and yeah, so I've like physically I'm still working on my mental. I've still got a lot of hangups, like as you can probably tell.
Sure.
But yeah, at least I've got the physical part down.
Right.
So like halfway there.
Yeah. I mean, so you have like, did you start therapy like right after you took the hiatus? Were you already in it?
No. No, I didn't. Uh, it probably wasn't until August that I started actually like looking for a psychiatrist
A
and
few
therapy.
months after then.
Yeah, and it wasn't until due to like wait times. It wasn't until
Of course.
September that I actually got into psychiatry.
Hmm.
And then it wasn't until like this February that I actually got into therapy. So
Really? Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Is this your first experience with therapy? Is it?
No,
No.
it's not. I think it's third my third therapist that I've had.
Okay. Okay. So is it safe to say that you like therapy, don't like therapy?
It's difficult.
Facts.
especially
Yes.
especially this time around. Like my previous therapists were pretty just like general therapy. Now we're getting into like uh EMDR for like PTSD therapy,
Hmm.
and it sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It sucks in the sense that like you leave those sessions so drained and
Hmm.
so emotionally wrecked for like it's so
Yeah.
hard because diving into that stuff, the EMDR, for those who don't know EMDR, they have different methods. They either do like tapping or they have these little vibrating pad things, or some people have like lights. But what it does is both your brain, both sides of your brain are activated at the same time while you're doing talk therapy, but a very specific kind of talk therapy, usually around PTSD, past experiences, trauma. So imagine that. Already talk therapy around trauma is hard. Imagine having both sides of your brain activated, which makes it boop, like it really just heightens it. Um, so kudos to you for doing that. Like that is extremely difficult.
Recommended by my psychiatrist.
And a good psychiatrist too. Uh is psychiatry new to you? Like is the medicine game
Yes.
new to you?
Yeah, psychiatry like this is new to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um yeah. Like I previously had like, like GPs, like I've had like I managed to recently come off of my antidepressants, but like
Mm-hmm.
for nearly 10 years I've been on like antidepressants like prescribed by like my
Right.
GP and stuff.
Right.
And it's only until I met this psychiatrist that I was able to actually get off my SSRIs, which is wonderful.
Cool.
So it turns out depression isn't my issue anymore. It's just anxiety and the
Ooh.
rest of it.
Need a little rainbow anxiety.
Yeah. But not depression anymore, so that's nice.
Well, that's lovely. That's lovely. Um, it's very difficult to come at like because you have to come at it as from the therapist side of things. For those who don't know, I'm a child therapist. But you have to come at it from kind of this holistic perspective of just like, well, yes, maybe the depression isn't there anymore, or at least the symptoms of the depression have lessened so much that it's not really much of a thing anymore. And now we got to kind of focus on this. And it sounds like that's kind of what you've been doing, Maple.
Mm-hmm.
Is like, well, I've got a pretty good handle on that. I've beefed up, I've leveled up, whatever. I'm pretty good at that. Now this side, I need a little bit more help on.
Yeah.
I need a little bit more help on. Are like, do you like it? Do you not like it? I know you said it was difficult, but
I find the psychiatry sessions are a lot easier for me, at least I find, because they're more focused around like medication management.
right.
And I don't have to talk about things as much.
Nope. It's true.
I don't it's quite nice to like it's like the monthly like reset, trying to see how the drugs are doing, talk
Right.
about that, maybe dip toes into so how's therapy going? Oh, it's going good.
Yeah. Oh, it's going very well.
But yeah.
I didn't freak out for 2 hours after my stream or my session, whatever. No problem.
Yeah. It's going good. Steady on the up and up.
Good.
So I feel like once I get a handle on like being able to figure out why I feel like I don't deserve happiness and
Hmm.
streaming, maybe I'll be able to come back to it.
Right. Right. So definitely no set date for you in the future.
No, I don't have like I don't have like a due date where I need to like
Hmm.
come back to streaming by, so I'm not like pressuring myself that way.
Good.
It's more of when I feel like I can stream in a healthy way with, you know, my work-life balance and not do 7 days a week and not burn myself out. Yeah.
Solid
Yeah, I'll
idea.
probably come back to it.
Solid idea.
And I went on for much longer than I should have, and it's just because it was habit. And I knew it was habit because I knew like if I ever stopped, I
Hmm.
knew I wouldn't start it back up again. So then when I took like I took a week off of streaming after the raid train because I really just needed sleep.
Totally.
And after that things just didn't feel the same because I had stopped streaming.
Right.
Um and then I couldn't bring myself to get back into that really unhealthy schedule. So I just stopped.
Okay. Do you feel like that was like what was that experience like coming back after that week off? Was it just like this doesn't feel right, or I hate this, or like
It really it just it didn't feel great. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Do you find yourself someone who gets wrapped up in like the numbers stuff, or is that something else that clicks your perfectionism separately?
It I can sometimes, I can ignore it other times, but definitely like post stream when you're given all those analytic data, it's hard
So
not
much.
to delve into it, especially when like you're uh like you work with data for like a living.
Yeah, I can imagine, right?
So like looking at all like the different statistics and everything like it's just it's too enticing not to.
Hmm.
And it's difficult to not want to look at all that spicy data. Um
Spicy data. I like that term.
but that really it wasn't that was like the big thing. Really the big thing was my unhealthy work-life balance.
Okay. Yeah. Work-life balance is a big thing, and then you add like this the content creation, the streaming thing on top of it, and it's work.
Mhm.
You know, a lot of you'll find a lot of at least this is what I found is that a lot of people don't talk about how much there is involved with like if you're really going for all the data and stuff like that, there's a lot that goes into it.
Mhm.
And I talked about this with Rare when she was on, and we talked about like it's super easy to get wrapped up in the numbers, just to start, and then on top of that, like you kind of run into they really shove it down your throat.
Yeah, they do.
They
And it's
really
yeah.
yeah. What have you like noticed? Like, did you notice that that was a bigger reason for it, or was just part of the reason?
It was just yeah, it was just part of the reason. Um, but yeah, like I said, it was a lot of it was definitely the burnout
Hmm.
and the not feeling like I deserved to stream since we lost, quote unquote, we lost. Um, even though, like I said, I absolutely know that there's literally nothing else we could have done, anything further. The system is entirely rigged against us for years and years. All the court of
100%.
justices, etc., etc. There's nothing we could have done, but still, it feels like there's still that part of it as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and like, not that this is a therapy session, but I would challenge. I will challenge your we lost thing. Um, but yeah, so like that the work life balance is something else, and some people have trouble with just that and a full time job.
Mhm.
Like a full time job already takes up a good chunk of your time, days, whatever. So like when you have time for fun, groceries, like that stuff can take a lot of time. I've noticed that like for me personally, I have to uh really find like I have to really force some time in to get to like the gym and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And then just my own personal therapy stuff. I had the I don't deserve to feel good about myself.
Totally.
So the gym had to be like, I'm not going to work out. I'm going to pick stuff up and put it back down. A lot. And it kind of tricked my brain a little bit into just being like, yeah, we're not working out because we're vain or whatever, because vanity's bad. But I was just like, I'm just picking stuff up and putting it back down, and I'm doing it like 30, 40 times.
I like that. That's cute.
It
That's a cute way to trick yourself. Yeah.
It tricked my brain enough that now it's not nearly as hard to go.
That's good.
I still got those moments though when I don't know if you do the gym or anything like that, but it's when you go to the gym and you see somebody there and you're like, you're done. This person does not need to be here. They are so like perfectly cut and everything. You're done. What are you doing here?
I've never actually been to a gym.
Wow. Really?
Yeah. All my exercise I just do like run outside and stuff.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, no. I've never been in a gym, I can say. So I can see how seeing other people who are like in top physique would like even like make you feel like you don't deserve to be there because you don't look like them.
Right.
Sort of thing.
That's what I'm saying, right? Like
No,
you're like
all right, Doug. Yes, I have been to some Pokemon gyms in Pokemon Go. All right, you
a
have
few
got me
Pokemon
there.
gyms here and there. Right, of course. Of course. By the way, we will have this Q&A at the end if we want to talk a little more into like the Pokemon stuff. So you had this piece of you that was burning out because work-life balance. You just when you explained your schedule to me earlier, I was like, that sounds awful. I mean, working from home sounds kind of nice. It was nice for a little while, but like now, like imagine like 30 minutes after work starting a stream immediately.
Yes. Yes.
That sounds hard.
Yes. Yes. Monday through Friday, and then Saturday was just, regular. Saturday was my day to do everything that I couldn't do because I was either working or streaming, and then I would also do a stream on Saturday.
Right.
And then Sunday was my Lord of the Rings day, where I would like read I had a Lord of the Rings book club that I do. And so I would go through the chapter, I would take notes on the chapter, I would like reread the chapter, I would go and listen to 2 separate podcasts that also did like deep dives to like make sure like if I didn't pick something up, like if I would hear like if they picked something up, so I could like make notes on like if they caught anything that I didn't catch. And then I'd also read through my companion guide as well that also is detailed into the chapter as well. And then I would like it would take up the entire day. Like I'd be doing that from waking up until 5 p.m. to get ready to put on the book club.
And like that was all voluntary.
Yes.
All voluntary. So like that's so much time. And I think it's wonderful if it brought you joy, but I feel like at a certain point, even then, the things that have like can bring anybody joy, eventually you can kind of like, all right. You kind of back off. What do you do with your Sundays now?
They are for resting. Resting and for playing games on my own and for hanging out with friends and playing games with friends and also chores around the house as well.
Right. Like eventually we gotta knock these chores out. What the hell, man?
The dishes never stop.
Why does my dog never stop shedding? Like
they have to keep eating as well. How dare they? I have to keep eating. Making food, meal prep? How dare?
So much work. Golly gee. I do all the cooking in my house, so. I think without me cooking, Shy would just like Jax would be eating Shy on the ground because she just wouldn't eat. Like, and she says, "No, I would." I'm like, "Hey." Anyway, so now Sundays are rest days,
Hmm.
and a rest day consists of a couple of chores because we gotta I guess we gotta be adults once in a while.
Hmm.
And then like playing games, no pressure games, I assume.
Yeah.
Uh, what what's kind of like what kind of feeling does that bring versus like when you were streaming it?
It is honestly really nice to just play it without having to also constantly be interacting with a chat and
Mm-hmm.
having to have like your two brains of trying to play the game and trying to figure out the game while also trying to moderate a chat room and try to make sure that that's going well and trying to make sure the stream is going well and making
Right,
sure that your OBS isn't dying and falling and your internet is doing fine and you're not losing frames and
right,
all the while trying to just keep it going for 3 hours.
yeah,
And it's a lot less exhausting.
yeah. I can imagine. Now you can probably play for more than 3 hours a day,
Yeah.
and you don't have to worry about the chats and stuff like that. Yeah, there's like I have found that playing games on my own because there was a time when I thought very similarly to you, like the more you stream, the more your name gets out there, the more people see you, et cetera, et cetera. Right? And I do think there is something to be said for taking that time away and just doing it on your own, not paying attention. Like I'm not even worried about it. Not even worried about this bright yellow chats popping up. I think there is something to be said for that time away.
Hmm.
It's like why I will rarely ever do a Friday or a Saturday. Those are like fun days. Those are the end of the weekdays, you know?
Hmm.
So has your job stayed like the same? Do you still work from home and stuff like that?
Yes.
Oh,
Um,
oh, nice.
yeah, I've been working from home for the past 3 years. I generally don't go outside.
Mm-hmm.
I stay inside. I wear masks when I have to go outside, and when I do, it's only for necessities. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I wear my mask in session because well, two reasons, because like COVID's not over entirely, and uh kids are gross.
Yes, they are.
Kids are gross. And I love working with them, don't get me wrong, but they are gross.
Hmm.
They very much don't wash their hands, and they will just some of them will just like cough just like out loud. It's like stop. I'm begging
Yeah.
you. I mean, I got the wipes, and I make sure everything is clean in my office as much as possible. So, you know,
Oh, yeah.
knock on whatever. Hopefully that nothing bad happens there. So you're very call yourself a homebody.
Yes.
Yeah, were you like that pre-pandemic stuff as well?
I would say so. But definitely like the restriction, or at least like the self-perceived restriction now of
Mm-hmm.
not not being able to, but like going outside is a danger now.
Yeah,
And so yeah, so that like that perception of that like really changes how you feel at home. It feels a lot more stifling. Now that the outside is a lot more dangerous, so you really shouldn't go outside, so therefore you're kind of stuck inside.
yeah. Okay, yeah, and I mean that's I mean that's true. Like the outside world has become a you know a much more contagious place, and I feel like there are a lot of people who definitely think that it's just done. Like we're fine, no problem, and it's like, well, we're better, but not done.
I mean, it'd be nice if we were still testing and still posting all of the data to places where we could access them to assess our own individual risk, but we're not doing that anymore because we're pretending that it's all over. So why test and keep track of testing rates, you know?
because my freedoms. It's frustrating because like just I like working at a school is literally a germ factory, you know, like
Hmm.
it's and like there are kids that like I don't get to see out there because they're like because they got COVID again, you know. And now they're showing like these studies have been showing like if you get COVID a few times, like you could like suffer like brain damage and things like that.
Oh, even once.
Yeah, even once for some people, right?
Hmm.
Especially even those like immunocompromised and things like that. And some of these kids don't know that they're immunocompromised, and it's like, ah, please.
Let's not talk about the recent studies that have been blowing up on Twitter saying that it can cause a prion disease as well. That's great.
Just a good time. Out here.
Imagine airborne mad cow disease. Oh my god, that's so
Oh,
cute.
gosh, I do like cows. They are cute.
Oh my god.
So now that like you were already more of like a at-home person before,
Hmm. Yeah.
and now that this world has become more contagious, scary, whatever word we want to use, do you feel like that's like affected you in any way, like, or is it just like no, now I'm even more careful?
Oh, I'm incredibly careful.
Hmm.
Even more of a homebody than I previously was.
Right.
Yeah. It's like I am very afraid of catching it and potentially giving it to someone and then them dying because they're immunocompromised. Like I don't want to ever have to think about that. So my solution is just don't get it because then I
Right.
can't spread it.
I mean it's true. I mean I mean eventually, like, just the way the world dictates, we have to get out of our house once in a while, like you said, for necessities, right? I
Hmm.
assume that's like groceries.
Hmm.
uh
Groceries, mail,
I guess the mail. I get nothing but like spam these days, man.
doctor appointments.
That part's important. That part's important. The the mail though, I could probably just leave because I don't care. I don't get enough mail for it to matter, and the mail I do get is all just like, "You want us to mow your lawn?" And I'm like, "No."
All the bills and the important things coming in, though.
I get
What
that.
if the government wants you to go on jury duty? And then what if you don't get it? And then what if they send you to jail because you didn't check your mail because you didn't realize that you were supposed to go to jury duty?
Oh, I want to go to jury duty either.
Check your mail then, God.
Fine. I did. I did today. Uh, fine, Maple. Check the mail more often, I guess.
Yay.
Check it. I check it like every like 2-3 days.
Oh, that's more than enough.
Okay. Okay. I don't feel. Good. I don't feel bad for it
I was thinking like you weren't checking it for like 2 weeks at a time.
then. No. No, because then the mailman literally will like because they have like those like boxes that has like everybody's mail like stacked on top of each other. Uh, eventually like the mailman like comes and basically just like whips it at your door if you just like let it
Oh,
stack
I
up,
see.
and it's just like sitting there like all over your like front step.
I've gotta go to the post office to get my mail.
You go all the way.
I have to.
Is that
Mail
right?
doesn't get like mail letters don't get delivered out here.
Oh man, what if you miss a letter?
That's why I have to go to the post office.
Oh geez. What about like do you ever do packages or anything like that?
Some packages do come here. Some packages will only go to the post office.
Boy howdy.
It sucks. It'd be nice if they could all come here, but they don't always. So
That's
there's
living in the
that.
sticks for you though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I mean there is something to be said for like it's nice to kind of be away from everything, and the sky is so beautiful in a place where there's no light pollution.
Hmm.
So,
Unless it's covered by trees, so you can't see much of it anyway.
well, that's called the sticks. They're sticks, but they, they're out of the ground. They're very large sticks, as it were. Have you found that being away from that has kind of helped relieve some of that, like, I guess, like, COVID anxiety or anything like that? Or is it kind of like been about the same this whole time?
It's been about the same the whole time, like, because you still have to go outside,
Right?
like into town, sort of
Sure.
thing. So it's still always like this baseline anxiety of any time you have to go into town, especially because no one is masking anymore. It was great for, a few months when everyone was masking and you could feel a little bit more secure.
Sure. Yeah.
Like going into the pharmacy and everyone was wearing a mask.
Mm-hmm.
But now, like, no one does anymore. Even like people who previously were pretty COVID conscious, and now this just is all just laissez-faire. It's like, well, why? We're not through this yet, please.
We're not done, please. Yeah, it's the fact that, like, because even some of, like, I had to go to urgent care a few months ago for an ear infection and a, like, sore throat thing and, like, all this stuff, like, all at once. It was brutal. And just, like, speaking on the perfectionist thing, I was like, what if I miss a stream? But I was really sick, and, like, people at the hospital, like, nothing. And I'm like, it's a bunch of sick people.
It's terrifying.
It's a bunch of sick people. What are we doing?
Yeah. It's absolutely, that's why can't we keep healthcare facilities at least the place where we all just mask anyway? Why can't we just keep that? Like, I'd be a lot happier if that was the one place where everyone just wore masks still all the time.
Right.
I'd be even happier if they all would wear them all of the time outside until we get, like, actual, like, preventative measures. But yeah, we still don't have that. And if they could maybe not wear surgical masks, could you please wear a respirator, please?
Right. I will say, like, that it's better than nothing, but it is, like,
Better than nothing, but also it only takes a little bit of COVID to get sick.
Just one COVID, please. Yeah, it's hard out there. It was wild because just, like, sitting in urgent care, and you're like, what are we doing? Like, I feel like whatever I felt like with all that stuff, and, like, you could get whatever I have by sitting next to me if I wasn't wearing this. What are we doing? And then, like, a doctor would walk in, they don't have one on, and you're like, you're a doctor.
How many sick people have you seen today?
Yeah, figure it out. And they COVID tested me.
And it's great because, the COVID tests aren't even always picking up positive results. So there's that, unless you, like, get a PCR, and even then sometimes the PCRs are coming back as false negatives.
And then you're sticking stuff, like, in the back of my eye, pretty much. It makes me want to sneeze. But I don't sneeze. I usually just, like, shed a single tear is usually what ends up happening.
Thank you for your sacrifice.
Oh, God, they're the worst. It just feels so weird. Ugh. But it's, yeah, so with the changes in the world that have happened and how things have created a much more, safe isn't the word, but, like, people are aware, but they've, like, chosen to forget.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel, where do you feel like that comes from?
I don't know, but I get pretty angry about it, honestly.
Sure.
Like, yeah, it makes me, like, lose faith in what little faith I previously had in like, us. Like, especially, like, oh my goodness, like, you go back and, like, you watch, like, TV or movies of, like, they do episodes of, like, pandemic sort of things, like, ooh, what if a scary virus happens? And then you see all of this response from the government. You see them trying to, like, track the CDC is competent. Like, they make, like,
That's why it's fiction.
I know. Like, but, like, you think like humanity's been like, especially like America and Canada, like you know, like we've been obsessed with like the zombie apocalypse, and like
Oh
now that
yeah.
it's basically here, we're not even gonna wear a mask. Like, what? It's just the how much people don't care is still just so astounding.
Hmm.
You give them as much evidence as they could ever want, and they will still go against it. They will still say, for whatever reason, that they don't want to believe it, and they want to close their eyes and pretend it's not there, even though millions of people are getting sick and disabled and dying
Hmm.
from something so preventable.
Yeah. Do you, like, and I don't know, maybe is that like an American ideal? I've struggled with it a little bit myself to be like, is this just like Americans being like, I should be able to do whatever the hell I want kind of thing? Or is this like, oh, is it a worldwide thing? Because I know a lot of the world also has been like, we're good, you know?
I think it is just a problem with humanity, and
People,
that's
yeah.
bad. Especially when there's an airborne virus.
I mean,
That's like that's like the end game for a virus, is just be airborne and transmissible and you win.
yeah, I mean, literally, I mean, it was really ironic that like the Last of Us show came out like right after the CDC was just like, I think we're good with COVID, everybody. You know, like, I don't know if y'all watched that show, but
And the scary thing is that due to the other thing that humans are bad at, you know, the whole climate change thing and temperatures getting warmer, um, we could get a deadly fungal thing going on. Very, very, very possibly. It is not out of the realm, like obviously not like zombie fungal, but like, you know, fungus that can infect and kill you,
right,
sort of thing.
yeah,
Um, Very, very possible. Just due to the permafrost that's being lost, and due to the fact some pathogen can come out of there, and also that just the baseline temperature is rising. And normally, heat is a really good way of killing fungal spores,
right.
and our body temperature is like a good
Oh, it's
temperature
it's
to
beautiful for
kill
fungus.
the funguses. However, if the ambient temperature gets warmer than, you know, a human body, and the fungus, you know, continues to evolve, to survive, suddenly our bodies will not be able to just naturally fight off the fungus.
And here we are.
And yeah,
So what are you saying? Like 2020, like 2029? You thinking?
I don't know.
Okay, I've just figured you're a data person, so you just like knew.
Um I think it's by 2027 that like temperatures are even like gonna get bad even by then. Like it's soon. It's
I
soon.
I did remember reading about uh the coastal states like losing a lot of land
Mhm.
uh because of the oceans rising and stuff like that, and I was like, that actually is almost a scarier thought. And then they're like, I'm in Colorado, and they were like, yeah, and Denver will be like a rainforest, and I'm like, that what, you know what I mean? Like that one of the driest places, and they're like, I hope you like humidity, and I'm like, well, my hair doesn't like humidity, so I don't like humidity.
Yeah, it's very scary. We're facing a whole bunch of different extinction level events like simultaneously. So there's really not a lot of hope as well. You
Yeah.
know. So you try not to think about all that. But then, you know, when you're in the middle of a pandemic, it's kind of hard not to think about it.
Sure, yeah. What I mean, you were already, you since you probably were already home a lot before that, since you were like, you probably had a decent setup at home. You were like, I'm doing all right
Hmm.
when the pandemic hit, and I know that a lot of people like really struggled to adjust. Were you working from home pre-pandemic as well?
I had a setup where I could.
Uh-huh.
Like I work for a telecommunications company, so getting set up was
Hmm.
pretty easy. Like we all got ourselves our stations at home, and we all got our virtual machines, and we had to connect to our VPNs and all that.
Right.
So it was a very smooth transition for the people in my company.
Okay. So like it didn't affect like your work all that much.
No, not really. In fact, I started working even more because it's so accessible.
Right.
Like it's right here. If something happens after normal work hours, like I'm available to do the thing.
But you got paid for that.
I'm salary, so
Oh. No.
which is both good and bad. It comes with its own stuff.
It does. It does.
You
When
know.
I was salaried, it was like no matter what I do, I'm gonna get the same, so that's okay. But it also meant no matter what I do, I'll get the same. And that
It's
ended
a
up being
double-edged sword, yeah.
is like, oh. But like as like just from the therapist world of things, it meant like taking calls after hours and
Hmm.
you know, my kid's freaking out. What do I do? I'm like, well, what are they freaking out about? I don't know. Why didn't you ask? Like, why wouldn't you
Maybe
go
they
up to
were,
your kid and be like, what's going on?
and then the kid shouts, "I don't know. I'm just upset." Fair, fair. I don't know why I'm upset a lot of
Sometimes,
the time either. Sometimes you just don't know.
but like younger kids are really good at being able to just kind of be like if they're able to kind of get back down to like any sort of base level, they can be like, I'm hungry, you know, like,
Aw.
and it doesn't take that much. They're just they got big emotions and they got a little brain, so just like work with the little brain and teach them to just be like, let me know what's going on, you know, check in with yourself. Stomach, okay. Head, hurt, no, okay. Hurt body, no, right, right, no blood, we're all good. Teeth, okay, because little kids are losing teeth, right? One of those things that I've taught the little kids about. Um, with your therapy though, I imagine it's a little different. I don't know if they have you do full on body checks like that, but maybe you do.
No, not recently.
Okay, not recently. With your first therapists, like back in the
Mhm.
day, with your first therapist, was it a little more like more general stuff? Was it just kind of coping skills, psychoeducation stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, it was. It was a lot of coping skills. A lot of like go through the timeline. Let's figure out where things went wrong and talk about it. Um and general stuff like that, yeah. Um I really got into therapy first when I came home from university early because I had to drop out due
Hmm.
to depression and anxiety. It was great, lovely time. But yeah, so that was like my first therapist. So we talked a lot about that and coping skills, etc. And it was great.
Sure,
And I thought I was all better and was fantastic. Just, the depression, just take pills. It's fine.
of course. So easy.
Yeah.
Just a one click fix thing.
You learn all these coping skills and now you're good. You've got all the tools you could ever need. You're great.
For some, not
This
for
is
everybody.
sarcasm. It did not.
It didn't fix it, if you can believe it. It's one of those like because it for to drop out of college is such like a massive decision to make.
Mm,
You know, especially because you said you dropped out after your third year. Is that what you said?
no.
Oh,
I made it one semester.
oh, literally one semester. Okay,
Yeah.
so like you invested like this much time, and then you were
Mhm.
like can't do it, or you know whatever happened.
Yeah.
Was that fresh at 18?
Yes. 17 actually.
Set.
Um
Okay. Okay.
it's
Genius.
just I was just born early. Like I'm not nothing until I was just born early.
Right. Okay.
Um
Okay.
so yeah, I went off to university at 17. And because of my whole perfectionism, I had to go to a good school,
Right.
and I wanted to study. I wanted to be a politician so I could make the world a better place. And I was living in Canada at the time, so I wanted to be
Hmm.
like NDP and be super great and super liberal, left wing. Like
Right.
you American left wing is right wing in Canada.
American
So
left
like
wing is like barely left of center, if that.
yeah, so it's like yeah.
Yeah.
Um so I wanted to do a double major in history and political science and
Ooh.
also work in parliament at the same time. So I got a volunteer job in parliament in the office of Olivia Chow, who was the then leader of the NDP. Yeah, it was a lot of pressure that I put on myself. And also, it was 56 hours away from my hometown, and I had no friends or family in the
50,
city.
56 hours. So
Yes.
that's a good long drive.
Yes.
That's a good long drive. Uh, man. So like it was full like carte blanche, like total clean slate when you got to school,
Yep.
and it just felt like way too much.
Yeah. It was good for like first couple months, great. And then everyone talks about like Thanksgiving, and then everyone's talking about friends and family back home and how people, oh,
Mhm.
that's the time where a lot of people quit and they go back home. It's like I'm gonna do better than that.
Right.
I'm not gonna drop out. I'm a smart person. I'll be great. I'm gonna be a great politician one day, and I'll save the environment or whatever.
Sure.
Um, but yeah, uh, it didn't quite turn out that way.
I can see
Um,
that. Yes.
I make maps now.
That's
Um,
cool. We need
yeah.
those too.
But no. Yeah. It started getting a lot too much
Mhm.
for a 17, nearly 18-year-old kid, and I started by not eating as much because
Right.
I felt like I was on a very strict budget, so I couldn't eat too much.
Mhm.
Um, I was very worried about spending money. I was very worried about uh, just like everything, big anxiety problems that were not at all looked at previously. It was just, oh,
Sure.
Maple's just nervous about everything.
They're just a nervous person.
Yeah.
Don't worry. I'm
Um,
sure it's not,
yeah, and
anxiety or
then
whatever.
it just kind of culminated a lot
Mhm.
and more, and like the anxiety built, and then started getting depressed and having not great thoughts, bad
Right.
thoughts,
Mhm.
very bad thoughts that the on-campus doctor said that I should probably go home. So I did.
And so you decided this isn't for me. I mean, like all like jokes and whatever aside, there like 17 is already young, and then throwing all that pressure on top of a 17-year-old to like do well at a university level, like whoa. Like I there are like full-blown adults that can't handle that kind of thing, let alone a 17-year-old. Like you're not even at like the emerging adulthood, like developmental stage. Like we're not even there yet. It's something to be said for like creating you created like a much different path for yourself. Do you feel like the politics route is something that like might happen later?
Oh, probably not. I mean, like, I'm almost 30 now. Like, a career change at this point would be silly, especially because I've got 10 years of experience in map making now.
Sure.
Like, um, no, but like that's like where like the seed of activism for me always was.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like why I would think I was even able to like do the RHR stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Since I've always been real into activism and stuff. And I don't think that'll change. Um,
No, you can
but I don't
continue
think
with
I'll ever
activism.
like yeah, I don't think I have been just so jaded now against like the political systems, even like the political system of Canada itself, like it's not designed for people. It's designed for corporations.
At this
So I
point,
don't think I
yeah.
could ever actually go and do that
Mhm.
ever again.
But there is also the fact that you can continue with your activism,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
and it doesn't have to be week-long raid trains. It can be in many other forms as well.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I mean, down. It's such a sad fact, but like we down here in the States, we just don't get a lot like of like Canada education.
Mhm.
Like when it was only like maybe 5-6 years ago I learned that like Canada even had a parliament. You know what I mean?
Fair enough. Yes. Fair
And I
enough.
was like, what do you mean? Like they don't just do like the same like representatives and Senate? They're like, oh well, they got similar things, but they, you know, they have this and they have a prime minister. And I'm like, it's like a president. They're like, well, not exactly. You know, it's like,
And technically, our head of state is the monarch of England, previously the Queen. Rest in peace. But
right.
not really.
And there's like how do you like, how do we not get that education? And what's so funny is because I have in my stream specifically, I have a lot of Canadians just somehow pour in, and I get to learn so much. It's great. It's great. I love learning about it. I learned all about the islands. I don't want to screw up the name again, but I don't want to.
Prince Edward Island.
No, the ones that start with N. Up north.
Newfoundland. In Labrador.
What, in Labrador?
Oh, Nunavut. Oh, you mean the up north one?
The up, yes, that's what I meant.
Sorry, living in America now. Every Canada, everything is north.
Right, but that's, you know, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, I kept, you know, I don't want to screw up the name, and I got a lot of names up there that I kept screwing up. So, you know,
you are doing wonderfully. The fact that you recognize it at all is wonderful.
You know, we just like, I mean, were you born in Canada?
And raised, yeah.
Born and raised in Canada, and then you moved down here when?
Moved down here 2017, 2018.
Okay. Was that for work or was that for something else?
For work and some other stuff that I won't discuss here.
Totally. Yeah, just like, do you feel like, where were you before? Were you east side, west side, BC?
West side, British Columbia, yeah.
That's what's up. Okay. And you went to college, you said 50...
And yeah, an entirely other province, 56 hours away. I went to school like in the capital of Canada, in Ottawa.
Right on. Okay. That's pretty far. It's pretty far.
Yeah.
That's a pretty long drive.
Ottawa's in Ontario, which is by the Great Lakes.
Yes.
For any sort of like geographical, if you need help with that.
Right. No, I'm learning a lot about it. I learned about like the GTA, and I'm learning all about like that area too, and I'm like, whoa, these are cool.
Yes, not the Grand Theft Auto, but the Greater Toronto area.
I said that the first time. It's like I had no idea. But so you have, I mean, you've been pretty traveled if you're going like pretty much across Canada, and then back, and then down here to the States. What was like the biggest culture shock, do you think?
The healthcare system.
Yeah.
That was the biggest culture shock was the healthcare system and having insurance.
Yeah.
Like you have insurance in Canada, but like it's not for having to go to the hospital.
Right. Go on. It's awful.
Oh,
it's awful. Yeah. It makes no sense.
Yeah, and like I have apparently like I have a very good health insurance through my job, but like I couldn't imagine living here without it. Like that's just absolutely terrifying that so many people have to just like live in absolute terror of like not knowing if you can pay to survive. Like that's just so scary.
I mean, it's very like, we'll save your life, but you'll be paying for the rest of your life on it.
Or if you die, one of your next of kin will. How about that?
Doesn't matter. You know, one of you's gonna pay. I don't care who. It's really frustrating because, I mean, there was a point where my insurance got screwed up from my current job. It got screwed up where I was just like left uninsured for a few months, and like I couldn't afford my medication, and I couldn't like afford to go to my therapist, and I'm like, ooh, it's a good thing that like I'm decently adjusted right now, because this would be really hard. And then it was so dumb.
Sorry.
I mean, they like, it was such a stupid screw up too. It was like we had to do it all through like the whatever website that we use for our payroll and all this other stuff. But it was like it was like a few people in our company like clicked the wrong button, and it just all uninsured all of us.
Jesus.
Yeah, but because of like the whole open enrollment or whatever thing, they're like, well, you missed the window, and we can't give it to you unless there's like a major event. And they were literally like, yeah, so if we break the open enrollment, then like you lose all your benefits, and everybody in the whole company does. And it's like, I was like, what the fuck is this?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so I can understand the culture shock for that. No, it was awful. I'm very glad that you have good insurance, and that you're also like, you also are cool with your job, that you're like, no, I dig it. Is there what's something other than the healthcare system that you miss about Canada?
Well, my family.
Sure.
I miss my family.
Yeah.
Just and like due to COVID, I haven't really seen them. I've seen my dad was able to come down in December, so I was able to see him for the first time in 3 years, which was nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't seen my sister since before COVID. So it's coming on 4 years since I haven't seen her, and just like, yeah, family.
Yeah, for sure.
It sucks to be apart.
Yeah,
but also at the same time, it's also COVID time, so like, would I really be seeing them anyway? So you know,
right? Like, plane travel is. I feel like plane travel is one that's still like that. That's one place that definitely hops my anxiety up a lot.
Being around people, which is also like, if everyone on the plane wore masks, it'd be great, because of just the amount of air changes that are on the airplanes, and the amount of filtration is great. Like, air quality great. It's just all the other people around you.
Right, but they, you know,
like the person next to you.
No, the plane I just got on when I just recently got back from Vegas, and I had somebody ask me why I was still wearing it.
Because there's an airborne vascular disease going around.
And I was like, because there's still a disease that we could all get.
Like, y'all know it's vascular, right? It'll infect everything. It doesn't discriminate. It doesn't have an organ it prefers. It's vascular. It'll go anywhere.
It's cool. It really does not care where it goes. Like, it's a really laid back.
You got blood vessels? It'll be there.
It's got you. You got blood in general? It's got you. And there's like, that was such a weird thing for me, because like, it doesn't bother me. I found like one of the culture things that I ran into down here in America was like, people would just be like, I don't like to wear masks, they're uncomfortable. I was like, then get a better one.
Right? I recently did uh a cardio stress test because I had to get my
Ooh,
heart checked out.
yeah,
Um, and I did 10 minutes and 30 seconds on an inclining treadmill
yeah.
with my mask on.
Mhm.
It was intense. I had to take it off for like the last couple seconds because I was not doing well and I needed actual some rest. And I feel I was very afraid about that for like the last like few days. I've been like terrified that I've gotten sick for taking off my mask for a few seconds to get some deep breaths and oxygen.
Right.
Um, but like you can wear a mask and get like some pretty heckin' good exercise
Hmm.
before you need to maybe not. But it was a stress test, so I had to be at, full capacity. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, you can absolutely wear them. How dare you?
I and like that was always the argument. It's just not comfortable. Get a different one. Like I know that the surgical ones aren't super comfortable.
Mhm.
They're not. You know, that little string kind of wears on your ears and stuff like that. Like it can be annoying, especially for the glasses wearers, like, right? I'm sure it's annoying. But I have this like perfect I have this great one that like fits my face perfectly well, and like the straps are really soft, and you know, it's perfect. I never have a problem with it. I can wear for hours and hours and hours.
And if
Never.
you don't like ear loops, get ones that go around your head.
Right.
They stay in place better anyway.
What's the issue? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. And it's kind of a cool fashion thing.
I think it is. Uh it was also like a real big fashion thing, like especially like in Asian stuff because they wear them when they're sick anyway.
Right.
Um like why couldn't have it just been like a fashion thing? How come we don't like have like bejeweled masks? Well, I mean, besides like airflow, but like why not? Why don't we like make them in like pretty colors and like accessorize them? Like plague masks are really heckin' cool. Let's bring that fashion.
I want the beak.
I know. Like, let's get some HEPA filtered plague doctor masks. All right.
Right? They put like good like smelling stuff at the bottom of the beak, and it smelled
Yeah.
great all day.
Yeah.
I could
Like
solve body parts all day with that.
honestly, like I know like they obviously will not be able to filter everything, but like compared to like even like a surgical mask, they might do better than nothing.
Right?
So let's just let's just get plague masks and we will make it like the cool new fashion trend and everyone can wear them and it'll be like as effective as wearing like a surgical mask. Like why not? Why not? Why not?
This could be so easy. This could be so easy. Why aren't we doing this? Everyone looking like a bird. Everyone looking like a
Yes.
big scary bird.
Birds unite.
We love it. We love
We
it.
are birds against disease.
What about the whole like everything returns to crab, right?
Hmm.
There was like a word for it. Carcinic, something like that.
Crab.
Everything returns
It
to
goes
crab.
it does. We are just on our way to becoming crustaceans.
We all return to crab. It's okay. You know, nothing wrong with it. It's not gonna happen.
I mean,
like
they are the superior body type. It has been shown through evolution multiple times.
right.
Crab is the way.
And we're all gonna get to crab one day. We're all gonna get to crab. And like it might not happen in your lifetime, but you know, down the line or whatever, if you have descendants, or alternatively, if you're, you know, your bloodline continues somewhere else, because this bloodline dies with me. But the idea of like, we're just carcinization. Is that what it is? Be a crab.
We'll be crab.
I mean, when you get like tongs, do you like instinctively click them?
Yeah, all the time. Walking sideways is great.
Right? Have you like walked sideways next to a person? It feels like a little dance.
Why are we on this topic?
I don't remember. But do you remember when I was messaging you and I said you were like, "How are the topics going to work?" And I was like, "Well, kind of stick to these topics, but my
Like, oh, you
ADHD
got
might
it, you
take
got it.
us
Yeah, 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 yeah,
places."
yeah.
Sorry.
You know, speaking of ADHD,
Yeah.
I was also diagnosed with ADHD by my psychiatrist.
Congratulations.
Thank you. However, I cannot be on the medication that I was prescribed because it caused the heart issues that I went to a cardiologist to see. It's great.
Were you taking like uppers?
Yeah. I was on, oh god, I can't even remember how to say it. It was a dextrosulfate, something like that. But yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, those
some
do
heart problems.
they do be pumping the blood.
Which was fun because I'm also still on like beta blockers and stuff for the anxiety. So I was on that as well as
Right.
the ADHD meds. Still major problems with the ADHD meds and hard times. So yeah, I got to live a medicated life for a few months.
Do you feel like first off, has like that like gotten more kind of under control and better, or are we still kind of like trying to figure out the right concoction?
Currently I'm not on anything for my ADHD stuff.
Okay.
Just on stuff for anxiety, which is great. But yeah, for a few months I did feel better, I guess, or at least different in a way that was superior to my normal.
Right.
But yeah.
And I've always said like there's no shame in the medicine game. Like
Oh. Hello.
Look at that. Hi everybody. Sorry about that. Internet. Oh, look, people can get first and second and stuff again. Lost you at Ain't No Shame in the Med game. Okay, that's good. Okay. So we didn't lose a ton, which is good.
Yeah.
What I wanted to say was have you found that the medicine has like ultimately helped? Did it take a while to kind of find the right formula?
I guess we're still like working on a formula. Like maybe want to try like non-stimulant stuff for it.
For sure.
But right now I'm just currently no longer medicated for ADHD. Which kind of sucks because I did enjoy the benefits, but also it did not enough to have heart problems.
No, I wouldn't say it's worth that, you know.
Yeah, you know.
It's this weird. What I found for a lot of medications is it's weird to try and find it because it's so disheartening sometimes. To have to constantly like battle yourself and battle the medications, and your body's like constantly adjusting, going up and down. So like what, like, I assume the heart problems is probably like the worst thing that's happened so far.
Yeah. And it basically just like I thought like it was just anxiety, but then I was like I developed like an actual physical symptom of actually like feeling my chest as being tight and like there was like pressure. And it's like, isn't that one of the things that say like that's a warning sign of a heart attack? And like I've had anxiety like my whole life and I've never like had that as a symptom of my anxiety, so I pressed to get that looked into, and it turned out to be the ADHD meds.
Stimulants, man.
Yeah.
Stimulants will do some work, as it were.
And it was weird how long it took my psychiatrist for him to suggest even coming off of them.
Right.
Like he pretty much was pretty sure it was like just like anxiety sort of thing. And it was just like a new manifestation of a new symptom of my anxiety.
Sure.
but then like coming off of them helped relieve that symptom immediately.
Which probably helped the anxiety.
It did.
Probably you're like, well, now my heart's not pounding all the time, so.
Well, now I'm not feeling like I'm going to have a heart attack. Great.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
No, it never caused pounding heart or anything like that because I was on the beta blockers.
Oh, true.
So it literally was just, I would have like pressure on my chest, like feeling like there was like something like weighing my chest down or like pulling.
Ouch.
So yeah, but yeah, like there was no racing heartbeat. Like when I would notice it, my blood pressure would go up, but that's because I was like anxious about it. So obviously my blood pressure would go up because I'm anxious about it. But yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm no longer on that.
So like, do you feel like that was like, you hear about a lot, like doctors not believing their patients.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like that had something to do with it? Do you feel like it was just like, we should try and gung-ho through that? Like, what do you feel like was the barrier there?
He specifically was like real into the ADHD meds and trying to like go for them. And he was even thinking like, maybe it's because it's a too low of a dose. Maybe if we upped it, it'll go away.
Sure.
It did not. And it wasn't until like I complained enough that he finally suggested that I like go get an EKG and then talk to my primary care practitioner. My primary care practitioner was like, maybe you shouldn't be on those meds. And I was saying, well, my psychiatrist says that I should be. And so then she made me go see a cardiologist, and that cardiologist said, you know, I've seen a lot of like younger people come in with like new ADHD diagnoses.
Mm-hmm.
And then also chest pain. So he's seen like a lot of young people being diagnosed and then being on stimulants and then causing heart problems. So yeah, he saw me, and before even like running any tests, he said, you know what? Let's get off of them and see how it goes. And it went away.
Magic. Almost like not everybody's body is meant to be with stimulants. Or something. I don't know. I'm not a psychiatrist. And through that process, like, did you have to, like, you had to see multiple doctors just to get like this one thing to be like,
yeah,
take it off?
Mm-hmm.
And only like, I know you've talked about like your anger and stuff, but like I imagine that's just so frustrating to an extent.
I guess it was more annoying than anything. I wouldn't say anger at that. I get angry at like societal injustices, not necessarily like injustices against me.
Okay.
I mean, I do, but not like in a healthcare setting. It's like I recognize that there's people are really busy and they're trying their best.
Okay. The societal injustices are affecting you.
Yeah. Fuck the world. Fuck the people who make these decisions.
Right.
I will be very upset about that.
Sure, yeah.
But you know, my doctor saying, oh, no, you should probably stay on those meds. It's probably fine. Like, it doesn't cause like anger.
Okay. Yeah. No. It's one of those like frustrating pieces of healthcare in general. Is just like you trying to tell somebody like, this is what's going on, and then they're like, well, is it? Let's keep trying. You know. You're like, okay, because like they're in the position, like they're in the position that they should know what's going on and how to fix it and those kinds of things. And then you're just like, how do I come off of this kind of like piece that is, I'm just trying to advocate for myself here. And I know that I mean, it's been even like shown in studies, like women face that far more often.
I think it helps that I'm a big hypochondriac, so I will always push for things. And if things aren't being pushed for, I will just start breaking down in the office until they let me run the tests that I want.
Yeah.
So, you know, for everyone out there who's having problems, just have big anxiety and then start crying in your doctor's offices, and then they'll agree to like run some tests. It's great.
Crying is the answer.
It is.
Will you teach me how to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Be sad.
I got that part down.
Hmm.
I got the
You
sad
know,
part down, but the crying part is the hard part for me.
it's interesting.
Uh-huh.
Women are actually a lot more predisposed to crying, and not on like on like emotional level. Is the size of our tear ducts.
Mm-hmm.
Women's tear ducts are actually smaller, so tears will just pop out a lot easier and faster than male tear ducts
Then
will.
my massively manly tear ducts, I
Yes. Did
guess.
you know that you actually have 4 tear ducts in each eye?
No.
You do. You
It's
have 2
very
on the
interesting.
bottom and 2 on the top.
Interesting. I'm learning. Interesting.
Yeah.
And women's are just smaller?
Yeah. Yeah, and so like it takes a lot less tears to be produced for women to cry because they fall out of their faces faster.
It's right. Whoa.
Yeah.
I got something to teach my kids soon.
Yeah, it's like a physiological thing that just it's easier for women to cry because tear ducts are small and just
So I definitely I get close. I get like the lump in
yeah.
my throat. I get like I feel like my face is kind of swelling.
Yeah.
But like the tears don't fall, nor do they crash around me. And
But yeah.
it's frustrating.
Yeah.
In the sense that I'm just like, I feel like if I got like a good cry in, I would actually be a little bit healthier. They just don't happen.
Maybe it's a blockage in your tear ducts. Maybe you should have that looked at. I'm not an optician though.
I don't think so. Kibby is an optician. We could ask her. I know that we had like that little weird breakage thing. Do you feel okay to kind of keep going? Do you feel like you want to take a break? Where are you at right now?
Oh, I'm good. Whatever
We're solid
you need.
right now.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a couple more like kind of stream content related questions.
Sure.
And then I feel like take a quick little break and then Q&A session.
Sounds good.
Okay. I like that. I like that. So first content related question was why aren't you following me back? No, I'm kidding.
I am.
No, that's a joke. Do you feel like what is the like the level that you feel like you need to be at to make like an official comeback?
Well, I got my physical health down.
Right.
So I'm good there. And I can empirically say that because I beat the average score on the or the average time, not score, on the cardiology stress test. I beat the average time for a woman my age. So therefore, I'm healthy. Obviously, that's how my brain works.
What does new high score mean? Good job. Okay, so health body down.
Health body wise down. I think I need to get a little bit further into like my EMDR stuff and PTSD stuff and get that actually fixed and not just like in the back of my brain where I don't think about it until my next therapy session.
Okay.
So once that is taken care of, or at least like addressed and I have like more tools for that.
Sure.
Once I get that done as well, I think I'll be more inclined to start thinking about streaming again. But I really want to tackle some of the PTSD and trauma.
Right. Right. And then like, so it's like, I think I was saying this kind of earlier, like this side, we're good to go. This side is needs some more tools, needs to level up more.
Yeah.
Okay. What like, and if you even can, do you feel like you could put like a scale on it? Like if you're like a 4 out of 10 on the way there, or like 10 is like ready to go.
I don't know, hard to say. I feel like
that's fair.
I feel like I can't say at the moment. It's currently not applicable.
That's
I don't know yet.
no, and you know, I'm not gonna be like pressure. Where are we at? Um,
No, I worry like what if something comes up in the EMDR and I like access like some of my repressed memories that I have because I'm missing, you know, lots of time. Like
yeah.
what if something comes up and suddenly like things are really bad for a long time and like what if I decided to come back to stream right before then and suddenly it's all over like I can't. Sorry, I have to focus on this other thing, brain times.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm not going to come back to streaming until I get more into my trauma work.
Okay. Love that. Love that answer. Love that answer. Definitely got to make sure that we're ourselves are good.
Mhm.
And I feel like the fact that you are addressing it in from multiple avenues too, the psychiatric and the psychological, like coming in and being a part of this has like shown that you are really truly attacking it
Mhm.
and kind of in almost a head-on manner.
Yes. I want to get this done so I can get back to streaming. I really like streaming. And also,
Yeah.
hello, Salty. Welcome on in, Raiders.
Hi everybody.
I've really missed it. It's like we talk about how bad it can be, but also at the same time, it can be so rewarding. Um, and just a really fun hobby as well. Like not just like being able to connect with people,
Mm-hmm.
being able to like we are here talking to a person I probably would never have expected to meet in my entire life. And yet here we are, friends discussing things on the internet. Like, how does this happen? Through
Right.
streaming. It's great. Um and just like yeah, I miss it. So I definitely want to get back to it.
Yeah. Do you what is the thing that you miss the most?
The community and
Yeah,
like yeah, it's the people.
no doubt.
I mean, it's a very, very unique community here on Twitch, and I feel like I'm very fortunate to have like in the 2 years that I was streaming, like to be able to like find a place and to meet so many amazing people and just have fun doing it.
Yeah.
And I definitely miss that a lot.
There is something like I'm really lucky that I ran into I don't like to place ownership on any viewers or anything like that, but like the idea of like finding like these circles that you're in and a couple other people here in chat are in that like everyone's really welcoming and really nice and is crazy understanding too, because you imagine, I know that I've had this thought of if I take a break, I am lost to the annals of time, to Twitch and all that shit forever.
Yeah. I will say, as someone who's been a year off of Twitch,
Mm-hmm.
there are people who still like are in my Discord and people who still like engage on my Twitter. So and everyone keeps saying just take your time and when you'll be back, you know,
Mm-hmm.
we'll be there. Um and yeah, it's you will not be lost. You have
Mm-hmm.
managed to get your community, your friends. Um you will not be forgotten. It might not be like what it was before. There might be a whole bunch of like transient people who were there and they moved on,
Sure.
but you'll always get new ones. And that'll always be happening, no matter what kind of community. Even if you're streaming for years and years, you're always going to get people coming in and out.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the friendships and the connections that you make that are the important part. And those don't just go away. Even if maybe they're not on Twitch anymore, they still might engage with your Twitter stuff or be in your Discord. Yeah, because views aren't, they don't really, like, the numbers themselves don't matter. It's the connections we make with people. As soppy as that is, I think it's true.
No, I mean, it's very true in the sense that we're uh kind of creating these connections as much as we can. Like it doesn't necessarily mean that these are lifelong connections. Like you said, there are going to be people who are like, I got to go find a new group or whatever, and that's them. And you can also find kind of your people. And I feel like the people that we met, like a lot of the people that I met through your raid train are a lot of the people that I have like continued to connect with.
They're a good bunch.
They're a great bunch. They're a great bunch. And I really like the sense that it's that own irrational thought, like we were talking about earlier, of just like, no, if the second I take like a week off and don't make up for it somehow, like everyone's gone and all, you lose everything and everyone just unfollows you for some reason.
And even if they do, you have the experience and the knowledge of how to do it again.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
even if you have to start from zero, you could do it again.
Right. I mean, starting like going from Tank Bros originally to Super Trav has been like this huge learning experience. And not necessarily starting from zero, because some of the people from Tank Bros are still here. Some are not. And that was something that like I had to do a lot of work on myself personally. It was like, oh, they don't, it's not that they hate me necessarily. It's that they were looking for a very specific type of content. And while I was part of that content, what I do now is a little bit different. So
yeah. And it could also be that them on a personal level, they just don't spend time on Twitch anymore.
True. That has happened a lot.
You go like going to different websites. Like I spent a lot of time on Tumblr. I spent years on Tumblr. I don't go on Tumblr anymore.
No.
Like it's just because my interests have just shaped and changed, and I've just moved on to different websites, and that just happens with people.
Yeah.
You can't expect them to stay on the same website forever.
Do you feel like by the way, no one will ever find my Tumblr, I promise. But it was have you found that even you have like completely spent time away? I know that you said that you go to Kale Mania and that's about it.
Yes. Yeah. I had kind of wanted like a clean break because I felt like if I was like still like watching and engaging with Twitch, that I would be like really tempted to just continue streaming. So I just kind of wanted to just have like a clean break. Don't think about it. Get new habits. Form new habits outside of Twitch. And I think that has helped in my recovery. And yes, Kale Mania is the one and like the one big exception. I've dipped my toes back in recently, like the past couple weeks. I've seen who's streaming and I'd pop into chat and say hello. But yeah. I never miss Kale Mania.
Yeah. And that's something that like being a part of Kale Mania, first of all, like that's
such an honor.
It really is.
It's such an honor.
That is something that I've thought about and I went, whoa, like that's on connections. That's not on just like the views or the whatevers, like that's the sub count, those types of things. You know, it's very much like that's on connections that we've made.
And Kale is just so great. The fact that he like puts us on, and I hope that he also takes time for himself and takes breaks, because that's also important.
He just moved, so I'm very excited for him.
But yeah, yeah. So I guess my biggest advice to anyone is just please take breaks. Listen to yourself and do not force yourself to continue because you'll think that you'll stop.
Yeah.
If you're thinking that, you should stop.
Yeah, there is something to be said for definitely making sure that your breaks are breaks also. Like I love that you said it was very much like a no, I can't even like tempt myself, because I know I'd do the exact same thing if I were to like take a week off or whatever. but I'd still like hop into streams and making sure I'm interacting and those kinds of things. No, man, I gotta, even for a week, I gotta be like, no, just stay away, you know? And that can be really hard for this world that this content creation world that definitely teaches this, that like consistency, man, consistency. You always got to, you know, do this, do this. Here are the steps. Here are the steps. And then my streamer tips series was to make fun of those steps because nobody knows what they're talking about. And I don't know how you think of it, but like I know that I feel like luck is a huge piece.
Oh yeah, totally. It's always going to be a luck of the draw.
Yeah.
Like where your stream ends up when someone searched for a specific game, like where it ends up in the list itself. If it's going to be on one of those rotating things on here's the communities we think you'll enjoy.
Right.
It's complete luck.
Totally.
So if you manage to like find your spark of luck, it definitely feels like you must protect it at all costs, and if you lose it, that's it. That's your one chance gone.
That's it, you're
But
done.
I don't believe that. I think like once you do have that, you can always do it again. If that's something that you want to do.
Right. It's not and your goals also matter here, right? Some people are like, I like streaming because I like the connections. It's definitely something for me, right? Like I love the connections I make. I like the inside jokes we have, you know, those kinds of things. That's like why I literally had an Ultra TRAV community challenge, and I'm working on picking up that kind of stuff, right? Because it's just this inside joke that turned into this big thing, right? And that is based on connections. And for you, like that connection has been that connection has continued even though you're away from the platform itself. How was it something that you made sure you were trying to do, or was this like just kind of how it happened that you were like, I'm just going to keep these connections going?
Oh, I did not want to lose my friends over this.
Right.
Over me having bad brain times and having to go away from Twitch. No, I didn't want to lose friends over that. So yeah, I did my best to still keep in contact with people as best as I could. I wasn't doing fantastic, which was great when other people reached out to me. That really helped as well. But yeah, no, just trying to continue to just interact with friends and just make sure that they know that I'm still here.
Right.
I'm alive.
I'm good. I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm still breathing.
I don't feel like any of my friendships suffered from not being on Twitch, which would be weird if they did. And I don't think that would definitely show that they weren't real friendships if they did. So, yeah.
I was gonna say something along those lines. It's like it just kind of shows that they would not be the real homies.
But
that wouldn't feel nearly as good.
I think also having this break from Twitch really has helped in terms of like that trying to succeed again, like tying like that perfectionism back to Twitch. Like if you're not getting those view counts and you're not getting that to that partner grind, like you're a failure. And I think really stepping away from that has really helped, being like, do I even want that anyway? Like I don't think I do. Like I think I just kind of want to hang out and play games. Like Twitch took away all the benefits to being a partner anyway. So like why bother like obsessing over something that doesn't matter literally at all anymore? Like the 70-30 split is gone.
It's still there for 2 and 3 though, I think. Tier 2 and 3 subs are still there.
For how long? Until Twitch changed their mind.
That's very true. I mean, because all their tier 1 subs are still 50-50.
And like affiliates have animated emotes now. They have extended slots now. Like there's so many emotes that you can have now. Like originally, when I first started streaming, it was you got 5 emotes.
You could not and it was really hard to change them too.
Yeah. And if you like unlocking more was like one of the big parts of being a partner, was getting all of those extra emote slots. Like that was fantastic.
Right.
That was really my motivation, and that was a motivation for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Was literally just the emote slots.
Yeah.
But now that we even have animated emotes, like us lowly peasant affiliates, we have them now. So like,
Yeah.
why push yourself to like breaking point and pushing, like, I know like a lot of like it's just like, why bother when we're basically the same.
Yeah. There's definitely a status piece to the whole thing, and the partners that I've talked with that we all kind of mutually know, like B and Rare, like they were both on here, and they talked about like kind of just like a almost a status thing. Like it just kind of shows like I made it, but now it doesn't change much, you know.
But like, made what? You arbitrarily met these goals that Twitch said, and therefore you have made it. What does that mean? Like the benefits for getting that are gone now. So why in this day and age should we obsess over it? And like I know a lot of people like lose friendships over this kind of thing. Like, why?
Real.
I don't think that's not worth it.
Yeah, and it we talked about it with Ninbound. He was kind of saying that like it changed the way people like viewed him.
No.
Like he got like a check mark next to his name, and so like when he goes into chats, people treat him differently or weird. Or when he got the check mark and these people who had been like watching him for a very long time were like, now you're a big old partner, you're just gonna forget all about us. It's like, I'm the same dude. Like, and B said some similar stuff too, and it was just like, yeah, I don't disagree with you, Maple. I think there's not a ton of major benefits. I guess the partner party, if you even go to TwitchCon, you know.
Except we're in the middle of a global pandemic, so why would you be going to one of those anyway?
Yeah. Like it's
Yeah.
I don't know. And apparently it wasn't even that good. Like apparently it wasn't even fucking cool. Like it was like they were like, yeah, put on a concert for us, and they were like, we didn't know they were gonna do that.
Oh, but yeah. I feel like it's an arbitrary thing now, and to other people like who made that and who got there and did that, like, what an achievement. Like, honestly, it is a big achievement. Like, Twitch made it very difficult to get there. So props to anyone who managed to build their community like that. Like, just fantastic job. But also I feel like it's not something that is really that important anymore.
Yeah.
It used to be like the monetary split was fantastic, and the emotes, but now that that's all gone,
you still do get more emote slots in general, which is neat, I guess. But you don't like it's not the change isn't drastic. It's like you said, we used to have 5 static emotes. They didn't move.
There's so many more things that you want to emote with other than just 5. It's so hard to choose the 5 that you want.
Yeah.
But now there's just so many. So is it worth the backbreaking labor to do it? Like, it might be nice if it just happened like organically, but I know like a lot of people, it doesn't always happen organically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of like where I have been at for I want to say it was kind of a fairly recent type of thing. Like I was definitely, because like we talked about earlier, they definitely shove the numbers and stuff down your throat. Like you hit stop streaming and they're like, here's an email, you know, and then even Streamlabs is like, here's our email with the same numbers but different. And like then like you go over to your little stream dashboard or whatever, and it's just like, here's your stream summary, and you're like, oh my gosh. It's hard not to look at it. And then, yeah, if it happens organically, then awesome, you know? cool. It's a cool thing to feel like you did that, right? You had a, even if it wasn't necessarily your goal, but you had an achievement and you did it, right?
Yeah. But yeah.
But there's
Like
yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, it's just I was just gonna finish with like it has become much less of an important thing.
Oh, it is not important at all anymore in my brain, which is great because it definitely was a lot of anxiety, like you said, like all those emails and trying to be the best that Twitch wants you to be, and with your perfectionism, and it's just, yeah.
I mean,
but
yeah, you were killing the game.
I was getting there, yeah.
Yeah. And
it was to a point where if I wanted to do that, like, partner push, as they say, I could have, and I definitely thought about it. But then I decided that I needed to take a break.
Right.
And I'm really glad I did.
Yeah. And from what you've explained here, like, to me in our messages, as well as like here now, like I'm like glad you took a break, because if it was pushing you to the point of like health and mental issues, like physical health and mental health issues, like getting a little bit of status on the internet is not worth that.
No, not at all. Yeah. I'd like, yeah, I don't want to think about, well, like how much worse off I would have been if I kept on streaming, and trying to go for that partner push while being like at that kind of, like, I'm still working on unlearning a whole bunch of unhealthy habits and stuff from that time.
Yeah.
And it's a year later.
Right.
So yeah, I am very glad that I stopped and that I broke that cycle. And then maybe when I'm healthier and able to more better, like have those walls of separation of like work and life, and not stream literally every day, and take breaks and work that into the new habits of streaming, then yeah, I think coming back to it would be good. Not until then.
But not until then. And there's like, you have found that this, like, I love the fact that you have kind of grown into like a much more, like, it's almost accepting of like yourself, of just like, I know this about me. I know that I got this perfectionist tendencies, and I've become I'm overcoming that, you know, through this, that, and the other thing. And now if you are to come back, that pressure that you felt before is just going to be like almost non-existent. Like, you're like, I'm going to show up. And yeah.
Now that I know my maladjustive schemas, I can work on fighting them and counteracting them.
Right.
Recognizing your maladaptive schemas is the first step.
We get wrapped up in those and we don't realize it, because that's what our brain does, is our little schemas that are our own mental shortcuts. They might not always be healthy.
I have a few more I haven't even talked about.
We're not even there yet. It could definitely be it in the content creation world, there is a ton of focus on like making it. And I feel like once that pressure of making it goes away, you almost become like a better content creator.
You transcend.
And now I'm better than you. No, it's
no, the transcension of not having to care that much, and having the pressure, like you say, once you transcend from the pressure.
Well, now that pressure is much lessened, I know it's not gone. I know that about myself, but like that pressure is much less there. I have much more fun making content.
All right.
Like my like with TikToks, I used to stress really hard over TikTok.
Aw. Yeah.
Because it was like, I got to make sure that the angles are right. I got to make sure that the lighting, all this stuff. I got to make sure that if I'm going to write something, I'm going to have to like write it and like have like direction for myself. It's literally just me filming in a fucking room. But like, now that I don't have to like think that hard, and like if something doesn't do super well, I don't really stress about it. I go, yeah, it didn't hit. Okay, you know.
That's how the internet be. You never know what will hit.
Right. No,
Like
I mean,
their entire teams dedicated to trying to make things go viral. Like you as an individual do not have access to the kind of marketing and research that giant corporations have. And even they can't make something go viral. Like
no.
there's it's luck.
But they can pump their numbers by promoting it and bumping up the fucking, you know.
But again, that's because they have they have the money to do it.
Right. They have the money to do it.
They are corporations. They can do that. They can make it artificially do the thing.
Right. Like whenever TikTok's like, do you want to promote this? And I'm like, no.
I think that's what I love about Tumblr, and like Tumblr has a similar thing, except it's almost a joke. It's an in-joke. The Tumblr Blaze, where you can make your
Is that what they call
420 blaze it and make, yes, and make your post like reach more people. And the fun you can it's just fun. You can buy crabs on Tumblr for no reason. They don't do anything. You can send crabs to other people. You pay them to
everything returns to crab.
Yes. And they also had like when Twitter did their whole thing with the check marks, you could buy check marks on Tumblr too, but you get 2 check marks. If you bought more, you get 4 check marks.
That's a lot of check marks.
It was just so stupid and fun.
I'm quadruple verified.
I was double verified on Tumblr.
Excuse me. Sitting in the presence of royalty right now.
I know, and I just had to pay money for it. Yeah.
Man, it's one of those things that like I don't, now that pressure is gone, like, or again, not gone. I don't want to make that statement entirely for myself. I know it's not true. But it has lessened quite a bit. Now I am much more healthy, and I'm in a much healthier spot. And it sounds like you are also getting there, and that makes me really happy to hear.
You know, have you ever thought of like blocking those emails from Twitch and Stream Elements?
They go to a specific folder now in my email. I don't, like, if I want to look, I will, but they just go straight to that folder. And
so I feel like that'd probably be one of the first things I do is block them. Like, not even send them to another folder, because I would be tempted to look. Like, just block them entirely.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what's so messed up about the whole numbers thing too is I have asked some other creators to be on the show, and they were like, I looked at your Twitch tracker and you're just not high enough. So
are you?
Yeah.
Rude.
Yeah.
It's not even on their channel. What?
That's what I'm saying.
Or what is it? Is it because you're trying to use them for their community? Like,
like some people think that I'm just reaching this for clout, which I make that joke a lot. I'm stealing all of Maple Creature's year lost clout.
Hello, I have but 1 whole year of not being on Twitch. Have my clout.
Please take my clout. Please take one of my 4 check marks. It's but that's like that. I think that's what they were thinking, and I make that joke.
Bad.
I made that joke. Yeah, but
that is too bad. I'm so sorry that they said that.
It is kind of is what it is. It made me.
It is what it is. Bada bing, bada boom.
It did make me realize that I'm like, I know that I don't want to like kind of affiliate with this person. Because you can show that's like true colors shit right there. True colors of just like, wow, they really they just like straight up told me no. Like just say like no. Just say like, hey, like that's just not really my thing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I respect it. No is a complete sentence, you know? Like it's they didn't have to like be like, oh yeah, I looked at your stats, you suck. Like
How dare.
hurtful.
Now that sucks. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that the Twitch culture brings out in some people, and it's really upsetting. And it's definitely one of the things that I think a lot of people need to watch out for when they do the streaming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's
A lot of
definitely something to
people
look out for.
fall into that mentality, and it's very unfortunate.
Yeah.
It should be a fun thing to do. Don't lose friends over this.
Well, I mean,
it's not worth it.
No. And you find people who are like who get so discouraged, like they, like I don't know, they jump into like a follow for follow thing, and then they stream, but like they don't get like this they don't have 300 people in their first stream, and they're just like never gonna make it. And you're like, I don't know if you've ever done this, but I've streamed to 0 people. Like it's a fun thing at this point. It's a fun thing. I'm sitting here making myself laugh most of these days, you know? If y'all happen to be there and laugh with me, that's great.
I'm glad you have a healthier relationship with Twitch too. That's the important part.
It
really is. That's like
changed.
the biggest part
Mm-hmm.
of your relationship with Twitch is trying to make sure that it's not messy and bad.
And it's not like toxic.
Yeah.
Because it all comes from this place of you gotta make it, you know?
Yeah, get Britney Spears out of here.
There's apparently still drama going on with her that.
Oh, I don't actually mean her as a person. I'm in reference to her song. Her song "Toxic." That's all I was trying to say.
That's one of my
I respect her.
karaokes.
I respect her as a person. I apologize.
It's one of my go-to karaoke's. But okay, so I think take a little fiver because I got to use the restroom and stuff like that, and then we'll come back for Q&A action.
Sounds good.
How do you feel about that?
Sounds good. Get your questions ready in chat.
So, to the chat that's out there right now, you feel like if you throw, you can throw whatever questions in the chat. We will try and answer them. It can be questions to me. It can be questions to Maple. It can be questions to both of us. It can be about what we were talking about, not about what we were talking about. So yeah, feel free to get your questions in. They could be Lord of the Rings related.
This is true.
I'm sure you will get a detailed answer.
I would be happy to answer any questions you have, serious or otherwise.
Yeah. So feel free to get those in. I got my mods throwing it into a Discord channel where these questions will show up, so I can also make sure that we don't miss any. Okay?
All right.
How you feel, Maple?
Good.
All right. We'll see y'all very soon. Welcome back. Hello, Maple. Did you have a good little break?
Yes, I sat here and I watched chat.
Yeah?
It was good.
Did they get it? Did we get any questions?
Quite a few.
Oh boy. Okay. Let me roll it back then. Let's see here. Looks like a lot of people are thanking you for giving us a lot of Maple lore, which is exciting. We're all a bunch of lore hounds.
Well, I'm glad. I'm happy to share. If anything I say can be helpful to someone else, I'm glad to share it.
Yeah. We have Maple. When is the next SCP session?
Soon, hopefully.
Dope.
Trav, will you join us?
I don't have the game.
It's free.
Oh. Is it scary?
Yes. But also no.
Well, now I don't know what to believe. Maple, do you know your friends love you?
I do. And I love all my friends. Thank you.
Maple, if you could travel to any place on Earth, where would you go?
You know, I've always wanted to go to New Zealand for some reason in particular. I have no idea why.
I think I know why. I have a guess. Solid guess, matter of fact.
There's absolutely nothing on screen that would tell you any reason why. No, not at
Nah,
all.
can't figure it out. Not enough hints.
Nope.
Maple, if you could travel to any place in Middle Earth, where would you go?
Lothlorien.
Go on.
It is Galadriel's domain. It is a beautiful elven forest that is like locked away from time itself. The trees are beautiful silver-barked, wondrous tall trees from Valinor, and they have golden leaves, and it's just glorious, beautiful place.
That sounds awesome. Sounds awesome. Trav, if you could travel to any of your known doppelgangers' homes, which would you choose? Salty, as much as I would love to visit you up in the GTA, I think I would have to go check out Weird Al's home just to see the memorabilia and stuff.
That'd be so cool.
I think it'd be really cool.
Have you seen you've seen Weird, right?
Yes.
Okay, good, excellent.
Yes, I mean, I saw it out of spite because, like, they passed over me for Daniel Radcliffe, and I get it. But, like...
He was so good, though.
He was good.
Uncannily good.
Yeah.
Like, props to Harry Potter. Like, he did great.
I guess. I got passed, so it was a little...
This is true. Maybe they'll cast you for the remake of... It's lost in my brain, but the one where they have the public TV. Public TV station.
Oh.
Someone in chat tell me the title of the movie.
I also know what you're talking about.
UHF, thank you.
Yes, that's it. Maybe. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Maple, if you don't mind sharing, how did the transition into mapping happen?
So...
Map look.
I've always loved maps, but I never expected to work with maps. I fell in love with maps from a young age due to Tolkien and his wonderful drawings and maps in his books. And then at a kind of like a random chance, I was hired to do something. I thought I was being hired to do IT, but it turns out they needed another cartographer, and I loved it. It was great. It was fantastic. It was like a weird dream come true that I never knew that I had. And yeah, I've been doing it for 10 years.
Love that. It just kind of happened that way.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
You're like, I'm gonna do this. I thought about making the map the creature joke earlier, and then I resisted.
I love that joke. It's great.
Good.
It makes me happy.
Good. Maple, if you were a Pokemon gym leader, what would your type be?
Oh, that's a difficult one. Oh, I don't know. I have a whole bunch of different. I like all the Pokemon.
Sure.
If I had to pick a type, fairy.
I do love some good fairy types.
Yeah.
They know how to make them cute.
They
make them cute. Or scary. Let's see here. Maple, what happened to Celeborn? Where did he go, Maple? What did they do to him, Maple?
Celeborn.
Oh, sorry.
They've killed him.
Oh, gosh.
They, as in the people at Rings of Power, they decided to kill him or take him away and lock him in a dungeon somewhere. As to why, I don't know. They probably didn't want Galadriel to have a husband in the show like she should have at this point, but we cannot have a female protagonist with a husband when she is supposed to be very strong-willed and everything, even though she was written to be very strong-willed, even though she had a husband.
Female protagonist? Not in my television. God. So dumb.
She had to have a love interest with Sauron first. She couldn't have a husband. What?
No way.
There's Sauron to oogle. What?
Why follow the source material? Maple, tell me, where is Gandalf? For I much desire to speak with him.
He fell.
Oh. Speaking of falling, Maple, where was Gondor when Westfold fell?
Gondor was actually in the middle of quite a lot. Gondor was trying to fight off a few different enemy fronts that were attacking them.
Mhm.
I think there was also like a pestilence going around at the same time, so they were
Right.
also fighting that. Really, they had their hands full. Sorry, Rohan. They tried their best. They should have sent like a small unit over to like talk to you, like understandably, but like also they were doing the best they could.
I was just busy. I know, I got
They're
a lot of
trying to
stuff going on.
stop a giant invasion from happening because they're
Right.
like one of the first lines of defense for like the entire Middle Earth.
Yeah. Let's see here. Trav, what gave you the inspiration to write The Saga Begins? Bored. If all Wibbles are Kriggles and Borkins are Quumblins, no Hoggles are Borkins and all Kriggles are Borkins, is it true that all Borkins are Kriggles?
This is a question for you, Trav.
I think it's a question for both of us. There was no
Oh,
name.
I've already answered this many times. It's your turn.
I was never very good at math. Let's go with false.
You sure?
Well, all squares are rectangles, but not all rectangles are squares. So
You have to keep going with it though. There's more.
but a parallelogram, all rectangles and squares are parallelograms, but so is a circle. So true.
Are you sure that's the answer?
No. I'm very nervous.
You're doing great.
But but at the same, okay, but like but like no Hoggles are Borkins, right? But like, but are all the Hoggles Wibbles too? Like that's like, are they related? They do rhyme, so like.
I mean, isn't the same as being the same. Rats and cats are definitely not the same.
But they rhyme.
But they're not the same.
Sure, but they both got 4 legs and tails.
Do a lot of things.
Yeah, my ferrets and dogs both have that. So, well, dog. I have a single dog. Mabel, can you all take us to Snurch?
I would love to. It's Snail Church.
I kind of put that together. I was wondering. I was like trying to think of other things that were like SN, and snail was the first thing that came to mind.
Yeah. Yes, it is Snail Church. It is very snowly. I would love to take anyone to Snurch.
Yeah.
Any snay of this week.
Mabel, do you think ghosts can change their clothes?
I don't know.
That is a good question. Thank you for the resub, Scoot.
I don't think. Well, here's the thing. I don't think ghosts exist at all. But let's pretend that they did. Would they wear clothes? I don't think so.
So it'd just be naked folk floating around.
I mean, yes, but a lot of people pretend like they say that they've seen ghosts
right
in the clothes that they were in when they died. So if we say that, then I think they've only got one change of clothes, and that's what's on them.
Right.
And they can't take their clothes off either because they're part of their body. They are themselves.
But do they have ghost clothes?
No. You know what? Actually, no. I think maybe they're just the leftover photons of the last time that they were. Okay. So really, they're not human at all.
Oh, okay. So
they're just light.
It's just kind of
let's just call them. Yeah. So like their body is their clothes.
Okay. So they don't really have a form then.
They have whatever form the photons were in when they last stopped being able to be perceived by photons.
Okay, but so okay. But what if that was like when they were naked?
Then that's it.
So there could be ghosts just hanging around, like hanging.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah.
All right. Guess that answers that question. I saw one earlier. Maps by the Yeah Yeah Yeahs. Map of the Problematique by Muse, or the Map Song from Dora the Explorer.
I don't think I've heard those first two ones, and the only one I have heard is the third one, so I will say the third one. Because I can't speak on the other two.
Maps is a great song by the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, and it's one of my partner's karaoke songs, so I'm gonna go with that one. Let's see. I think that was all the ones that we were caught. Thank you, Scuba, for getting those into the thing.
I think
I saw one from DMMDH.
Yes.
Who doesn't know who you are.
Yeah.
Said, who?
I'd love to answer.
It said, "Who is Maple?"
Hello,
That's
am Maple. I streamed for about 2 years, and then I took a 1-year-long hiatus. Played a whole bunch of like RPGs. I also dipped my toes into like bullet hells and stuff, which spread my wings a bit. Thought I was just like an RPG fairy, but turns out I'm a real gamer.
Real gamer.
And I did a Lord of the Rings podcast every Sunday.
Mm-hmm. There you go. That's Maple right there.
I also saw another question from him that came later, which was what made me love Tolkien's writing so much? What is it for me that makes his writing so great? And I think just like the way that he is able to use his prose to tell such deeply emotional stories that are able to resonate with anyone who reads them, like the plight of Frodo is so like anyone can relate to it.
Right.
Like the underdog, not being not a super person, not being strong, not being fast or really talented in any way, just kind of being old and then given a responsibility and then feeling like you have to do this thing.
That is kind of what happened.
And then at the very end failing to do that. Like that is so human.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. His stories are just so timeless and just written so beautifully. And I love all of the songs that he also puts into his writings as well. So you'll never go long without hearing one of his like wonderful poems or like turned into songs, and it's wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I definitely there's definitely, you know, it's been a very long time since I read the books or watched the movies. I will admit, I need you to take off the judgment hat for a second.
Oh, I never judge anyone for like for any like anything at all. Tolkien really like ever.
The first time,
like I'll joke, but I never judge.
The first time I watched the Return of the King, I was at a friend's house and they put on the extended version.
Mm-hmm.
I don't quite have the attention span.
That's fair.
Because that's like a 3.5-hour movie.
Yes.
With the extended. And I hit a wall. And I was so I remember this feeling of just like, I'm gonna yell for a second. It was just, get on the fucking boat! Like just I was so upset. And I just couldn't get past it. I was like, get on the boat, please. Just come on. Like, yes, very long stairs. Get on the boat. Like, and my friend was like, oh, but it's so beautiful. And I'm like, yeah, it's pretty because it's all gold, but like, get on the boat. But anyway, I should like sit like, because now that I'm not like reading it for like a class or anything, I think I would enjoy them more. Because reading stuff for classes was like always brutal.
Well, one of the goals that I had when I was still streaming was to go back and do The Hobbit as a book club. So maybe to dip your toes back into Tolkien, if you've ever wanted to read The Hobbit, maybe when I start streaming again, we can do that.
Good. Very well. Here we go. We've got Maple. I recently began drawing my own fantasy world maps by outlining Bryce. They're all blank because I don't know where to begin adding details, i.e. villages, mountains, forests, and get anxious at the thought of potentially messing up my maps. What advice would you give to someone like me trying to detail their maps? Or can you explain how to go about detailing your maps?
Sure. One of my favorite ways to make maps more detailed is by using contours and topography. So basically, like, you imagine like mountains and hills and valleys, and you draw like the lines of elevation and you make it like look more three-dimensional so you can see the elevation itself. So doing that, like you're basically just drawing a whole bunch of circular lines in different areas where there are peaks and valleys, and that'll give your map some details. And then you'll be able to figure out where you want your rivers to go, because water flows from high to low, and your towns and stuff are going to mostly be around those rivers or coastlines, because humans and presumably whatever fantasy species you have needs water to survive, unless they don't, in which case I don't know how to help you.
Very true. Yes.
Yeah, and then when you have that, you just use the roads to connect them, and there you go. You've got your transportation from the different places, and then you can make certain of your towns like larger if you think like one is in a good location. You can do that.
Like that would be like a hub.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. I like that idea. I was that would be the only advice who is someone who has never made a map. That would be my only advice, would be like to follow water, because that's how pretty much every single town ever started. Pretty much. Sure, there were some towns that were like, fuck those people who have their water, and then then they were like, can we get some water?
I guess I'd also say, look at the maps that have been made by the greats. Like, study how Tolkien made his maps. Look at them in detail. Look at the different maps, because he has different maps for the different ages of the world. So don't just look at the one of Middle Earth in the Third Age. Go look at his maps, like his early maps from the Silmarillion, of like the flat plain and Valinor and stuff like that, and just like look at all the different ones. Yeah, study them.
Yeah,
and also real maps as well. Go open a geography book. Have a look at and not just like countries. Look at like the ground and how it works, and look at like the different shapes that it makes, like with mountains and plains. Yeah,
I like that. As someone who had massive anxiety playing Subnautica, what is it about a Subnautica that you enjoyed so much? Genuinely curious, because I love hearing perspectives different than mine on gaming.
I think what I really loved about Subnautica was the story and the drive that you couldn't just follow. Like, you couldn't just be given the story, you had to go find it, and you had to go into the scary parts to go find the story, and it would incentivize you to do that. And it was a genuinely terrifying experience, but also at the same time it was really beautiful as well. Like being able to build your base wherever, and you finally have like a safe spot where you can relax for a while. Yeah, it just kind of outweighed how scary it could be at sometimes, which I guess is like a metaphor for life.
Right. Yeah, those are the kinds of games that you create more of the story if you want to. At least that's what I found with Subnautica and those types of games, because there's like mountains and mountains of lore, where you kind of play it at face value, make your base, and survive.
Yeah.
Which I think is cool. Maple, favorite Elden Ring boss or NPC?
Favorite? Oh goodness. I mean, I had a really difficult time with Melania.
Beautiful.
But I finally managed to defeat her, and I think that was one of the most rewarding experiences that I've ever had in gaming. So I mean, I gotta give it to Melania. She was awful.
Yeah. I could not beat Melania on my own, but I did eventually do it, and I loved Melania's design too.
Absolutely gorgeous. What a wonderful like character design.
Yeah, I will say the small girl big sword is like totally one of my favorite aesthetics. So
she was also a large woman with a large sword.
Eventually, yes, yeah, it was great. I love the so pretty. It's like, I didn't even care. The first couple of times, it's like, I didn't even care that I died. That was just really pretty. Let's see here. Maple, is there a place we can see the maps you've drawn?
No, because they are for companies. and I also live where I do my maps. So I can't show you the maps that I make because they are where I live.
That's fair.
So, no. Privacy, I'm sorry.
No, that's totally fair. Because it could also, like, it just, wondering if there was, like, maybe they were just wondering if there's, like, a cool topography thing that you've done, and not
The
even...
best ones I've done are based on reality, so no.
For sure. I get that. I get that. Thank you for that gifted sub. Trav, I am from Stormcloak. Are you from Stormcloak? Yes, I am from Stormcloak. Join the Stormcloak. I like Stormcloak. Join the Stormcloak. It's the worst. Been playing Skyrim on the channel for the first time, and I'm dealing with all the jank in real time, and everybody else has played that game a million times. So
I'm in a similar boat. I've only played like the first couple hours of it. I've never actually gone back and finished it, so I totally get it.
yeah,
Everyone's making all these jokes, and it's like, well, I don't quite get it yet.
I've been enjoying it. I
Yeah.
enjoy it with the jank and everything that goes with that. Maple Skyrim stream when?
When I get back to streaming, maybe.
Maybe.
Probably, actually. That'd be a good one. I should probably do that. That's one of the gaming, like, it's like a touchstone of gaming culture.
It really is. But I never got to it.
Yeah.
I never got to it, and then I got gifted it for my birthday, and I was like, let's do it.
Hell yeah.
Let's do it. I used to be a Travis like you, but then yeah, it's been great. It's been so much fun.
Oh, I'm so glad.
And because I also get to make fun of it at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I have one for you.
Yeah.
What do you think is a game that you that you love but you would never play on stream?
Game that I love that I would never play on stream. That's a hard one. I don't know if, off the top of my head, I don't know if there are any games that I love but that I wouldn't play on stream. Because I feel like yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Fair enough.
I can't think of one. What about you?
I think there are certain games that like just don't work super well for stream, because like there are times when if I'm just playing a game strictly for story and like I'm not even like thinking, I'm like in this like really like uncomfortable position, like just playing my game, and I don't even like think about it. But I do think like there is, I think like showing that something that you love so dearly and can like, especially if you've obviously played it before, like that'd be something cool.
Yeah, I can't think of any game that I love that I wouldn't want to share.
Right.
Like the only thing I can think of is like dumb handheld games from my childhood, but like I'd be totally down to play like Barbie Horse Adventure if y'all wanted to watch it.
Which you can do, right? Which you
right?
can do.
Yeah. So there's no reason not to.
Right. Which you can do now through the power of very legal owning games. Finding it in a parking lot. As I like to say. Let's get a couple more questions up in here. Maple, what have you been playing lately, and does it involve attractive Greek gods?
Yes, I've been playing Hades for the first time for the past couple of days, and it's been great.
Is it so good? Because I got gifted it for my birthday,
Yeah.
and I still haven't gotten to it. My birthday was in February.
Are you... Have you played like Fury or any other like bullet hell kind of games?
I like some bullet hell games. I like you talking like bullet hell like Vampire Survivors type thing, or
no, a little bit more
like shmups, like Gradius?
Yeah, stuff like that.
I do like Gradius.
There are some elements of that in Hades that I was not expecting, and then that made me really enjoy it. So I definitely would recommend it. It's challenging and it's fun.
Yeah, I've heard it's challenging, but also a really fun time. And I've also seen that everybody is drawn really attractive. Apparently, right?
As an asexual myself.
Sure doesn't matter to you. So the question that they asked instead was, Maple, which Hades NPC have you met so far that is the coolest?
The coolest. No, they're all pretty cool. Some of them are nerds, I guess, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't really have a good enough read on any. Yes, the chaos angel that I'm dubbing maybe is just the thought of, is it Christianity?
I have no idea.
I don't know. It kind of looks like the embodiment of what Christianity might be to like a Greek. I don't know. That's a cool looking character.
I like that. Maple, if there is one skill that you still want to master, what would it be?
Oh, there's so many skills I want to master. I want to get better at cooking. I want to be better at map making. I don't know. I want to do so many things. I want to actually learn how to play the ukulele. And I want to get better at it. I want to also continue to I want to get better at flute. I want to get better at trombone. I want to get better at piano someday. I want to continue to do singing and get better at that. I want to do everything and get better at all of it. Will I do any of it? No. Will I probably just get better at playing video games? Yes.
There we go. It's a skill. No doubt. Maple, have you heard of the new Lord of the Rings MMO that's allegedly in development? Are you excited? What do you think this means for Lord of the Rings Online?
Is this the one that Amazon was previously making, then it got canceled, and then apparently, allegedly again, they're saying that they're remaking it again? I have low hopes, considering that the last one got canceled.
I don't think it's gonna make it. That's fair. Maple, how many languages do you speak?
At one point, I was fluent in English and French. I am no longer fluent in French, and I would like to get back there one day.
Do you think
it's just time?
Do you think like immersion would help with that? Like if you just like went back to?
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, I learned through French immersion, so yeah. I would probably get it back.
Quickly-ish.
Really
Yeah. That'd be. I mean, I took French in high school, but I also took Spanish like the 2 years before that, and they're like they're not the same, but they do a lot of the similar things.
They're very similar, yeah.
I mean, they're both Romance languages, so
yeah.
Beautiful. And
they're confusing. They're confusing when you're trying to learn them.
Well, Spanish pronounces everything, and French pronounces nothing. Is what I've learned. Follow-up question: do you know Elvish?
I don't know how to actually speak it. I've been learning how to like read it. Like my keyboard, for instance, is all in Elvish. For instance. So I've been learning my numbers with my num keypad here, and my actual big keyboard has been teaching me. It's got English letters in the little bits, and the big ones are actual Elvish. So
I like that.
Slowly.
That's
slowly,
cool.
Just like through immersion.
Mm-hmm.
You learn your character slowly.
Yeah, that's actually really cool. Where'd you get that?
I got it from Drop. It's like their keyboard place. They do cool keyboards.
Yeah. Okay. Right on. I might be in the market for a newish one soon, so I was like.
They have a black speech one and a dwarvish one as well. If that sweetens the pot.
Is it only Lord of the Rings thing?
No, they have other ones as well. I just only know about the Lord of the Rings ones.
Okay, I was gonna say like
obsessed.
No. Since when?
Never.
Well, the Black Speech one summoned Sauron.
Probably not.
Oh.
It's been a few thousand years. few couple thousand years since you know, the time of the ring, so it's been a while. He's been cast out beyond the void.
But like, so?
He was gone. He's beyond the void. There's nothing we can do.
So you can't. So can you? You can't, like it's a one-way trip kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Bummer. I watched a friend of mine play. Oh shoot. It's the Lord of the Rings one where you're running around as just like one dude, but you got like a spirit dude with you.
Oh yeah. Shadow Mordor.
That's the one. You like that one?
No.
Why not?
Because it's lore inaccurate.
Oh, fair
And
enough.
also I would have loved that game if it was like colored anything else except for in the style of Lord of the Rings. I feel like it had a really good mechanic system, and I think it would be a really, really fun game. But whenever I played, I just kept getting annoyed at all like the core mechanics of it were just they just felt wrong. They made Shelob into a sexy lady.
I think there's like, yeah, I mean, game companies have done that before though. Like they make like a really cool game and then they just slap like a skin on it and they like, I mean, obviously it sold really well, but like they slapped the Lord of the Rings skin on it because they got worried that it wasn't going to sell well or something. It was the same thing with if you ever played Star Fox Adventures, it was supposed to be like this brand new IP Dinosaur Planet thing, and then they just slapped a Star Fox skin on it because they were like, it's not going to sell. So
That sucks.
and it was like, oh, this is like a bad Star Fox game, but it would have been a good game on its own.
Aw. But yeah, I recognize that a lot of people like really like it, and there are parts of it that are really good, even if it is like pretend Lord of the Rings.
Right.
I just the core mechanic of it is that uh like your spirit friend is actually an elf
Okay.
who made the rings.
Right.
But the deal with elves is that when they die, their spirits go to Valinor.
Right.
And they don't stay like in the mortal plane. And so like the whole thing is like your elvish ghost friend stayed in the mortal plane because he had stuff to do. But like, why aren't there other elven ghosts then? So anyway, that entire main premise just
he's like the guy, which is why he stick around. He's like
no,
the guy.
No, he's not really.
He's not even like the guy. He's just a guy.
Yeah, he's just a guy. Like, sure, he's like the grandson of Feanor, but like Feanor was the guy. Celebrimbor is just the grandson of the guy.
Huh. I like the way he talks though. Everything is like this. For now. He also like interrupts a lot, and I thought that was kind of funny. Because I was just watching my buddy play, and it was just like a cutscene, and he just like kept like popping out and interrupting. Man.
Ooh, Michelle, which one is more lore offensive? Rings of Power, Shadow Mordor. I gotta give it to Rings of Power. Making Mistral out of lightning? No, thank you.
So if we could get rid of one, but the other one had to stay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I would get rid of Rings of Power.
Okay. Gone. See you later. I like that. I like that. I'd get rid of it too. Mostly because I haven't watched it, so it wouldn't affect me in any way. But
parts that are really good. There are even some good episodes overall. It didn't live up to expectations, and sometimes that's the worst thing a show can do is not live up to your own expectations, even though there's literally nothing anyone can do to make it better because it's your own internal thought process. But also, you know.
Right. You know.
Yeah, you know.
I of course I know. Yeah.
What, you never had a beloved property that was being said that would be turned into like the next big thing, like the best TV series ever with like over $1 billion spent to make it the best thing ever, and then it turns out to be not great.
See, billions is like almost disappointing because it's like, how could you fail? Like,
I know, like you can buy anything with that. You could buy the best writers.
Exactly.
to be fair, they had like the best costume designs.
Mhm.
The costumes were gorgeous.
Right.
The sets, like, meticulously done. The props beautiful. Acting wonderful. Story needed a lot of work.
Okay. I don't know. That's so disappointing. I'm trying to, like, I think there have been like sequels to games that have been like exceedingly disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of like how I like think of it, because like if the first one is so well and you're just like, oh man, they got all this money and now they can fix like stuff that wasn't good the first one or whatever, and then they keep blowing it or whatever. Or like Shadow of Mordor, they just take an IP from something else and they just,
Yeah.
make
And yeah,
something.
like Sarah said, we were watching it together and we had like theory crafted like the entire reason why like we thought everything was happening the way it was. Because we saw like their red herrings towards the obvious answer. Like obviously it can't be that. So we came up with this
Right.
really cool idea. And then no, they went with the red herring answer that we called like immediately. So I was like, why?
This whole switcheroo.
Mm.
That's so annoying. Man, I'm sorry. It shouldn't. It should be better. It should have been better.
Well, maybe season 2 will be.
That's true.
I will
another
always
$1 billion.
be optimistic. I will always be optimistic for new properties
We love to hear
or
it.
new seasons.
We love to hear it.
There's always the opportunity for it to get better.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. They could go back and be like, wow, that was really bad. Let's fix it.
Mhm.
Let's go with at least one more question.
All right.
Well, how you feeling right now?
Doing good.
Good. Maple, when are we going to play Lord of the Rings: War in the North?
I want to do that. Yes. Nick, tell me a time and place. We'll play it.
Let's do it. Right on. Now. I will say, thank you all for being here. Thank you for being a part of this. Thank you, Maple.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for inviting me on. It was lovely having this chat.
Yeah, it was great. Thank you for putting up with the technical difficulties. You're actually the only one.
That's fine. When I streamed, my stream constantly went down because I air internet.
Air internet.
Like my internet comes from the air. I have LTE. I don't have cable.
No, you were telling me about that, and I was like,
Yeah.
amazing.
In a forest, so
Sky internet. Skynet. Anyway, but thank you all for being a part of it. If you haven't, what are you doing? What are you doing?
I can't promise I'll be back, but I might be back eventually.
But I will say all of Maple's socials are on there as well. So make sure to click on those right there. Cause you're like sort of active on Twitter?
Yeah, I'm
Sorta?
very active. I retweet a whole bunch of COVID stuff.
Yes, that.
I'm very, very good. I spread a lot of information about COVID. I will not spread COVID, but I'll spread information about it.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Bloodborne information? But definitely make sure to take care of yourselves, take care of everyone around you. As always,
Also, Cyber, I see you. I engage with you.
Engaged. Not a Maple stream without technical difficulties. The point we had a technical difficulty stream. I remember the technical difficulty stream. We got pushed. I think we only got pushed there like twice, but
yeah,
which was wonderful. This will be up on YouTube probably next week, next Friday. So feel free to check that out there on the YouTubes. I'll have Ben put it together into one thing just because I don't know how to do that.
Good at editing.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
And Maple, do you have someone that you would like to suggest for a raid?
Oh my goodness, let me have a look. Let's see, who is streaming right now?
Let me know. And we can do this. We can do we can use my raid message, but we can change it to Super Maple.
Shall we go raid Kanban Meow?
Would you like to?
Yeah.
All right, Kanba. If we raid Kanba, can we use the riddle on it? Yes.
Yes.
Of course. All right, so we're going to raid into Kanban Meow. A very proper cat. Playing some retro something or other. I have no idea what this game is. That's okay. That's okay. Thank you all once again. Thank you, Maple, for being a part of this.
Thank
I know
you.
that I worried about reaching out to you originally because I assumed it was like a full clean break and you weren't gonna do it, and it meant a lot that you were like, yeah, let's hop on.
I like dipping my toes back in.
We're testing the waters.
Yes. Yeah.
Ooh, a little too hot still.
Exposure therapy.
Only works for some
I don't need that for
things.
Twitch.
Only does it for some things. So feel free to use my raid message, your own raid messages, raid emotes. I'm all good with it. Feel free to listen, do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. All I ask is that you let him know. All I ask. Anba, you let him know that Super Trav and Maple sent you. That's what I'm asking for.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Maple. This was great. I had a great time.
I had a great time too. Thank you.
Of course. And look at that. Just a little bit past your bedtime.
Only a little bit.
Just a little bit. All right, everybody. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.